And now, race fans, to speak the most famous words in motorsports is the chairman of the board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mary Hallman George.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway once again rumbles to life with the feeling of horsepower. We are 400 miles from motorsports history. Who will it be? We're glad you could join us for the Brickyard 400. And now we go across the track and up the stairs to the three men that will call the race for you today: Alan Bestwick, Wally Dallenbach, and Benny Parsons.
Bill, thank you. Hello from Indianapolis. I could not think of anyone, given his and his family's history here, more qualified to tell you what it would mean to race and to win here at Indianapolis.
This is where dreams are made of. I mean, there's a lot of drivers and a lot of crew guys in this place right now that were brought up around open wheel racing, and it's all about Indianapolis. And I'll guarantee you, if you ask those guys, if you only had one more race to win, or one race to win, they'd pick here the Brickyard 400.
Benny, in the garage this morning, so much talk among drivers and crew chiefs about track position, trying to pass and get to the front. Dale Jr. starting 36th. How does he get there?
I don't know. We've talked to Junior. We've talked to Jeff Burton. He's starting 37th, and they're both convinced they can pass cars. They can race their way to the front. We all know that the crew chiefs are going to have to pull some kind of tricks. You're going to have to change 2 tires, fuel only at some point in time, trying to get those cars from the back to the front, and then try to race with them once they get track position.
And we know they'll do whatever they have to get to the front, because this is Indy, as Wally said, a race every driver wants to win. The pageantry and the build-up, so much a part of the atmosphere here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The U.S. Army is here even. Black Hawk helicopters flying over this huge throng of 300,000 NASCAR fans just moments ago. The 400-mile journey to the checkered flag and a place in the history of this great speedway begins in just moments. And now the starting lineup for the 10th running of the Brickyard 400. Harvick looking to improve on last year's 5th place finish with Ryan Newman alongside winner at Pocono 1 week ago and home state favorite here in Indiana. Defending winner of the race, Bill Elliott in row 2 alongside Ward Burton. And the Daytona 500 winner, Michael Waltrip, is in row 3. Kurt Busch, 3-time winner this season, finished 5th in his first Brickyard a couple of years ago. Joe Nemechek and Bobby Labonte, the 2000 Brickyard 400 winner, in row 4. And Jimmy Johnson won an IROC race here yesterday. He's in row 5 alongside Jeremy Mayfield. As you look at the rest of the starting lineup for the Brickyard 400, Robbie Gordon's got an awful lot of miles here. He's lined up in row 7, BP. How about we try and hook up with him?
Robbie Gordon, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Benny, you're a little broke up.
Well, let's try this. How special would it be to win here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Well, you know, it's going to be a long race today. I think he is good on old tires, and that's what we worked on yesterday. We're going to work real hard trying to get our people coming down off of 2 and off of 4. That's going to be the key.
All right, good luck, Robbie. Obviously, not very good communication.
It's a long way around this place.
Yes, it is.
Probably farther from the antenna than anybody would be all year long. Rest of the starting grid for the Brickyard 400. Row 15, Kenny Wallace, Jeff Green. That car, that one car's finished 7th here the last couple of years with Steve Park aboard. Jimmy Spencer and Todd Bodine toward the back of the field. How about Dale Jarrett, former 2-time Brickyard 400 winner, only able to qualify back in row 17.
You know, on that radio deal, BP, sometimes it used to be the crew chief would have to talk to the spotter who was up on top to talk to us in the backstretch because it was so far over there. Couldn't get the reception.
Drivers in provisional land had to get in via the owner points. Larry Foyt crashed in qualifying yesterday, but got one of the final spots in the field. And the final place on the grid went to Derek Cope, former Daytona 500 winner. Here's the heartbreak list. Those who came and were unable to get into the field. for this race, including Ken Schrader breaking a long streak of consecutive starts that goes back to 1984. And speaking of heartbreak, how about John Andretti? Qualified 11th in a Dale Earnhardt Incorporated car. They found a problem with the engine this morning. He's got to drop to the back of the field because they changed motors, and that violates NASCAR's one engine per weekend rule. Getting word that Elliott Sadler left a little bit of oil or something underneath his car when he pulled away from his position on the grid, which was along the front straightaway here.
Wow. Well,
A lot of oil.
Quite a bit of oil. That's what we saw. I saw that sweeper on the racetrack and wondered what that was all about. That's fuel, I believe. I think that's gasoline rather than oil. I think that they put that cold gasoline inside the tank. It goes out there in the sun, expands,
Yeah.
and comes out.
Yeah.
That's John Andretti's car you see right of screen falling to the back of the field. Final stories from pit road as we're one lap away from the green flag. Dave?
Well, Alan, last year Bobby Labonte had a boxed-in pit stall further down pit road that the team felt cost him a chance at victory. This year, nobody pitting in front of him. This is a gap, and Bobby will have a clean exit off of pit road today. To Marty Snyder.
Well, Dave, a tumultuous week for the two bunch. Rusty Wallace was openly critical of his race team after last week's race at Pocono for what he considered bad calls late in the race. Now, Billy Wilburn, the crew chief, and Rusty met on Tuesday, kind of came to the conclusion there's no reason for this team not to take chances this year. As far as the car, better than it was, according to Rusty, last year when he finished second. Billy told me this morning, I will run him out of gas if that's what it takes to win the race. Matt
Kent is very confident about his race car. Sits 17th on the grid. He finished third here 1 year ago, but today it's not about the points, it's about the race. Usually calm and quiet, but he told his wife Katie yesterday, if by chance we get lucky and win the Brickyard 400, when we get to victory lane, I'll grab the trophy, pass it to you, and you run with it because they only give out one. I want to make sure we take it home with us. Bill?
In row 14, Casey Atwood and Casey Mears. The deepest any Brickyard winner has started, row 14. The name Mears is familiar to Indy 500 fans. Casey's uncle Rick won that race 4 times. But Casey's a rookie, 25 years old, just 20 starts, his best finish 15th. Right now, he's living the dream of racing in Indianapolis, one of 11 guys in this field that have never won a Winston Cup race. Will it be a veteran in victory lane, or will the magic that swirls around the Brickyard give us one of racing's most exhilarating moments? A first-time winner. Let's watch.
Coming to the green, 160 laps around this 2.5-mile track to make up the 400-mile distance. Some $8 million in prize money on the line today, but more importantly, a place in the history of this great track for winning at Indy.
Yes, sir. This is big.
The canyon of fans that presents itself to the drivers coming down the front straightaway. They all talk about it, what a thrill it is to go racing down with grandstands on both sides of the track.
Yeah, it is. It's especially down the front straightaway. It's like going through a tunnel at 200 mile an hour.
Ready, BP?
I'm ready. Can these two cars get side by side through turn 1? I believe they'll at least try.
Pace car is off. 300,000 fans are on their feet, and the 10th running of the Brickyard 400 is about to get underway at Indianapolis. Got the jump on the start, leads Ryan Newman to turn 3. Bill Elliott fell in line 3rd. Here's Kurt Busch, slipping in front of Ward Burton for 4th.
It's one of those racetracks. You really need to get in single file as fast as you can, because if you run side by side like these guys in the back, the guys that are single filed out in front of you are going to leave you.
And those guys in the back, look at them. Here comes Jeff Gordon trying to get on the inside. They know they need to get to the front as quickly as they can.
Elliott Sadler working on Jeff Gordon. What about Elliott Sadler's car, Dave?
I checked in their pit, Alan. They said that they believe it was just an overfilled situation. That was overflow oil on the track. They don't think it's a problem. At least they're hoping it's not.
And here comes Biffle on the inside, trying to get by Gordon and Elliott Sadler, trying to make it 3 wide.
Good run, good run.
That's for 13th place.
And that's the key right there. See if you can stay on the inside to the 4th turn here. It should be the 16 car's corner, but boy, Gordon hung tight.
Up front, Bill Elliott taking 2nd place away from Ryan Newman.
And when you talk to the guys in the garage here this morning, that was a car number that you heard a great deal about. Car 9 is really fast today. Car 42 is really fast today. Matt, how about the 9 car?
Benny, one thing that this team learned in the final practice session yesterday was something they struggled with last week at Pocono. They gave up too much time from the get-go. When the car finally came in, they were too far back track position-wise to make up that room. They felt like they found what this car needs air pressure-wise to be good from the get-go, and that's what you're seeing right now. Elliott on the move.
Yeah, you don't want to give up too much at the beginning of the run and have the car really, really good at the end of the run, because like Matt says, if you give up 6 or 7 seconds for those tires to come in, then you've lost all that track position. So you have to have a car that's pretty good all the time and doesn't fall off.
Bill Elliott led 93 of the 160 laps en route to his victory in this race 1 year ago.
Wonder how long this camera will last.
Yeah, the one there down the inside apron. Yeah. Check out some top speeds here.
Computer stuck, so we'll try it when we get it unstuck.
200, I'll say.
At least 200.
Michael Waltrip running there in 6th position, looking a little farther back. And a big knot of cars from Jeff Burton on back.
There's Jeff Burton, and he started 37th and worked his way already up to the 28th position. And here comes Junior trying to work his way to the front. Goes by Jeremy Mayfield. Is that Jeremy or Casey Atwood?
That was Jeremy, who has fallen back a good bit from the 10th position where he qualified.
And here we ride with Dale Jr. You've got to get your car to stay on the bottom. If your nose of the car is sticking, which it looks like the 8 car is, you're able to turn underneath the guy, getting off the corner. See if he can work over on the AOL car here, right here. Now, drag race to the next corner. Now, that is a good working car right now. He should be pretty happy with the way that car is handled. The front of that car is stuck to the racetrack, and that's the key to getting around Indianapolis fast. And passing cars.
And passing cars. We see Junior 194 miles per hour as he enters turn 3 in traffic.
So he's taken 28th place away from Steve Park, but here's the problem he's got now. You saw where the leaders just came through, and we're still looking back to find Junior. That's how much turf he's lost.
When you're passing race cars, you're going to be slower than the guys who are running single file in front of you, and that is the problem. You just got to try to get as many of these guys as possible. Hope for a yellow, get back, take that opportunity to make all that time back up, and then take another run at him.
Jeff Green next up that he's going to work on. He's Dale Earnhardt Incorporated teammate in the 1 car. Jeff started 30th. He's running 27th. And Junior started 36th, and he is about to take that 27th spot away. How about the 8 car, Marty?
Pretty good so far, Alan. One of their challenges in happy hour yesterday is that Junior was too tight. You do not want to be tight here at Indianapolis to start off with, because this track will get tighter the longer we go today. So they tried to free him up, but you can't drive the car too loose either. Wally, you know about that. So they were trying to find that fine balance. They wanted to start him just a little bit tight. They know the track's going to get tighter the longer they run, though.
That's right, Marty. Especially in traffic, if you start out too loose, then when you get around a lot of other cars, your car is really, really loose.
Ooh, Jeff Burton there.
It's a fine, fine thread.
Looks like Todd Bodine tried to pass the car in front of him, and Jeff Burton was tucked right up against him. Todd had to get out of the gas.
And here comes Junior in the 8 car trying to get by Todd.
So those cars racing back in the field. While up front, Bill Elliott trying to close on Kevin Harvick for the race lead. Just underway in the 10th running of the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. On the Wendy's race menu next weekend, it's the road course at Watkins Glen, New York, perhaps America's most famous road racing. Address: And that's NBC at 1 Eastern time next Sunday. Then the NASCAR race for the championship moves on to Michigan, Bristol, and Darlington. Some great racetracks. Fast at Michigan, the Bristol Bull Ring, the Southern 500, all coming up. The race for the championship on NBC and TNT.
Looks like Bill Elliott in the 9 car is stalking our pole sitter Kevin Harvick in 29.
He's in hunt mode, huh?
Yes, he is in hunt mode.
Well, this is right where Bill Elliott is right when you get into that situation where you don't have the air on the nose of your car, and it's difficult to get any closer or make that pass. It looks like Bill can really close up on him, but then he's losing the nose and he can't make the pass. What do you think, Matt?
Wally, that's exactly what his spotter, Busch Series driver Tim Fedewa, was telling Bill. Just to get that nose in clean air and you will take off.
And he's trying to run as low as he possibly can in the corner, trying to get a little bit of air on that left front to help him turn the car. But Harvick is going down there pretty low as well. Watch Harvick as he dips below that white line. Doesn't give Bill Elliott much room to get some air.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to work with on this racetrack because really it is a narrow racetrack compared to some other tracks that we run on. And you have to use every single inch of it, especially coming off the corners.
And Harvick almost touched that wall on turn 2 that time, trying to use the entire racetrack.
So while Elliott continues to hunt the lead on Kevin Harvick, guy who's on the move and picking up spots is Tony Stewart. You see a lot of empty racetrack behind Tony. He was right in the group of cars that's now behind him a few laps ago. Bill, he's cleared them and set sail.
He has moved to the front from his 15th starting position, continuing to pass cars, but he did call in that the engine is popping. So they'll be watching for that. Then a few laps later, he said, if we can get rid of that engine popping, we can win that race. And communications just moments ago with his crew.
Well, I see he was running by himself there, so he could make that really late entry into turn 1. Something you can't do when you're following those other cars.
Engine popping. Just be a little exhaust noise, or
it sounds to me like some kind of electrical problem.
Now he's got the other ignition box. He probably already tried to see if it would take that popping away.
Whoa, check this out.
Oh, mirror driving there, maybe.
Jeff Gordon and Jamie McMurray, 24 and 42 by Sterling Marlin and Ward Burton. 22 driver losing 4 positions there on that last lap.
And that 42 car, Jamie McMurray, when you, again, talking about drivers who can win the race today, his name came up as often as Bill Elliott's.
Ward Burton started this race up on the outside of row 2 in 4th position. Again, he's just fallen back a few spots. He's now down to 13th. Ward in the headlines here this weekend after telling Wally and myself and some other reporters that although he's under contract to Bill Davis Racing for next season, he and the team may be interested in exploring some other options.
There's some issues that we have not been able to get straight on, myself and the team owner, and don't know if we will. So I'm exploring some options for this coming year, 04, and I think he's doing the same. We do have a contract for next year, but if we both find a situation that we're happy with and move on, that may be what we do.
And you know what, he looks pretty calm there, but when you're a race car driver in that situation, you want to get this stuff done. And there's a lot of things happening right now in the garage area, so you don't want to wait. That's why Ward wanted to get out there and put his name out there, because opportunities, they
go away.
They go away real quick.
Yep. It's Bobby Labonte passing Ward there for 13th position and kicking the 22 car back to 14th. Bobby, a former Brickyard 400 winner. Started in 8th position, lost some ground in the opening laps, but Bill, he's starting to try and chip his way back up.
Working on it, and Benny, you were there this morning. We were talking to Michael McSwain. He said they made a number of changes on the car. In fact, they did a lot of paperwork trying to work on the entry, on the car's entry into the turns. They went back and looked at Tony Stewart notes. They looked back at some old Bobby Labonte notes. They made the changes, and Benny sat back, told us he'd know by about lap 5 if they made the right changes. So I went down and asked him, and he just held up his hand and said, give me 5 more laps, I'll let you know.
So he still doesn't know. It looks to me like he's okay, Bill. He faded back a little bit, but now he's marching his way back towards the front.
Looks like it might be one of those deals, Benny, where it gets better the longer it goes, and maybe that's why he wanted those 5 more laps before he'd answer any questions.
That's right, Bill. That's what we talked about, Wally. You talked about just before that you can't be too good at the end of the long run because you give up too much the early part of the run.
Exactly.
Nothing's changed up front. Kevin Harvick still the leader. Bill Elliott still chasing him. And Ryan Newman running a close third. It's the 10th running of the Brickyard 400 in America's heartland. NASCAR drivers chasing a dream. It's the 10th running of the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and there's a new leader. Bill Elliott has gone by Kevin Harvick to take the top spot.
I guess Bill finally made a run at him. Got that nose underneath the car. Actually, the 29 car got a little bit loose, and Bill Elliott took advantage of it. Watch here, going into turn 1 here. See, the 29 car gets a little bit loose right in here. And that's where you see Bill Elliott really takes a jump at him and then gets a nose underneath the car. Almost lost another spot here to Ryan Newman because he was fighting with Bill Elliott on the outside, and Newman tried squeaking down the inside. But Harvick had the momentum there on the outside and kept the position. In the meantime, while these guys were racing, look who snuck up behind them.
And who's moved into third spot.
And
Tony Stewart.
And I'll tell you what, guys, I thought this was the best car yesterday in both tracks, the 20 car Tony Stewart. His car was very, very consistent throughout the run. And that's, like I said earlier, that's the key here, is not to have a big fall off in time. Tony's car looked really good.
He's about to get second place from Kevin Harvick. It doesn't look like without much contest because he is flying.
He's under, going down in turn 1, takes the spot. Oh, what a run.
And that's the beauty of it. We see this 20 car down on the bottom of the racetrack all the time, and they've got front grip in their race car, and I'm telling you, it's real important here. We're going to hear a lot about getting those front tires to stick on this racetrack today.
Well, the question about whether or not you can pass has been answered because Tony Stewart started 15th, and he's moved up to second, all under the green flag in the first 22 laps of this race. If you got a good car, you can pass. Yeah. You can go. So Stewart now has a deficit of a second and a half to make up to catch leader Bill Elliott as you see his scoring serial. 20 laps of 160 are complete in the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The home state Indiana fans have just leapt to their feet at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tony Stewart has just passed Bill Elliott for the top spot in the Brickyard 400.
And
it looked easy, too.
And not only did he pass him, he's just in one straightaway has driven away from him. Going down in turn 1, Stewart gets that position on the inside. Nothing Elliott can do except, okay, Tony, go ahead.
And for him to pull out where he did, BP, that's horsepower right there. Those Gibbs cars are making some big horsepower. I saw it in Pocono, and you can see it right there. When you can pull up on a car and pass them before you get to the corner, that's ponies.
There's a but that goes on the end of your statement there.
They got to go the distance.
That's right. Last weekend they were making big horsepower at Pocono, another similar flat 2.5-mile track, and both engines blew up before they got to the checkered flag.
Did they make it 400 miles though?
I don't think Tony made it 400 miles. Bobby Labonte might have.
Okay, well,
I can look that up if you give me a second.
I'd love for you to look that up.
All right, we'll do that. But Tony Stewart is now the third different driver to lead the Brickyard 400. Interesting, in last year's race, Bill Elliott led 93 laps. Tony Stewart led 43 laps. That was 136 of the 160 between them. Now, Jimmy Johnson, Robbie Gordon here.
It looks like, what's that coming off of, BP? Is that off of... Robbie got loose there.
Oh, man.
And the 48 car was right there. That was really nothing intentional. That was just Robbie saving the car.
On board the Lowe's car, and we'll see all that smoke. And I tell you what, we saw that last week at Pocono as well when Jimmy Spencer and Greg Biffle made contact, and Biffle gets a flat left rear tire. So hopefully that did not happen to Robbie Gordon.
Or another thing is it didn't mess up Jimmy Johnson's right front fender. Because I'm telling you, folks, fenders are important here. Those fenders being perfect is what's helping pushing the front of these cars down in the racetrack to giving those front tires grip. And if you bend them in, that hurts that.
Robbie Gordon running in 9th position. That's Jeff Gordon just ahead of him, who followed his team car Jimmy Johnson through. So Johnson running 7th, Jeff Gordon 8th, Robbie Gordon 9th. And a couple things to mention. Ward Burton came down pit road a moment ago for a stop. That was at lap number 22. Terry Labonte thought he had a tire going flat. He stopped at lap 23. And now Jeremy Mayfield and Kevin LePage have made very, very early green flag pit stops.
Is that Kenny Wallace in there too now?
Yeah, Kenny Wallace on pit road now too. So, but these stops are way early. Tony Stewart, race leader here in the Brickyard 400, said the thing he is most passionate about is trying to win here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I talked with his crew chief, Greg Zipadelli, this morning. I said, Greg, Tony is so intent on winning here. Greg looked tense. I mean, he just had the look of somebody who had the weight of the world on his shoulders. I said, I know you try as hard as you can every week, but does it put more pressure on your shoulders when you come here as badly as Tony wants to win? He said, yeah.
This is different. This is a different place. This means a lot. Like I said, there are certain guys in this field that this is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and this was the event. This is the racetrack, and there's a lot of pressure on drivers. What do you think, Bill Weber?
Well, just about what's going on here so far today. Remember, he had that popping sound? That was when he was not at full throttle. Well, a few laps ago, he changed ignition boxes. That got rid of the popping sound, and then he called his crew before he passed Bill Elliott and said, send a note to the front and tell him I'm on my way. He's already there.
Note has been delivered, Bill.
So it was the ignition box that was causing the popping.
The problem is now that he doesn't have a spare. They have 2 ignition boxes in the car for emergency use. Well, they should have run 400 miles.
Yeah.
So Bill Elliott now 3.2 seconds behind Tony Stewart in second place. By the way, the answer to your question, Bobby Labonte did make it past 400 miles last Sunday. This car for Tony Stewart came within 17.5 miles of 400 before they had their problem.
Well, one thing different about here in Pocono is you're shifting at Pocono, you're not here, so you're not abusing the motors as much at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as you do at Pocono.
Rushville and Columbus, Indiana both claim Tony Stewart as their own. He's out in front here in Indianapolis. Tony Stewart is the leader of the Brickyard 400 after 33 of the 160 laps, coming up on some pit stops and beginning to see a lot of cars make a move towards service for the first time. Sterling Marlin's in, Bill.
He's got 4 tires, a tight race car, track forward, air pressure adjustments, full of fuel, send him on his way to Marty.
Jeff Burton started 37th, has made his way into the top 20. It's in on lap 12, really tight. It's in on lap 16. It's especially bad in turn 2, wedge and air pressure to loosen that 99 up.
Bobby Labonte leaving pit road along with Sterling Marlin. Jamie McMurray has just given up a top 5 spot to come in for his pit stop. You've also got Robbie Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Elliott Sadler. Let's see, Mike Skinner in the Army cars coming in. How about McMurray, Bill?
Been extremely fast on the racetrack, faster than the leader at one point. His crew chief told him that. No changes, give him 4 tires fuel, send him back out.
Rusty Wallace.
Rusty Wallace is also on pit road. His car was tight. They wanted to take a spring rubber out, make a track bar, and an air pressure adjustment, trying to make that car a little bit better. Rusty has Roger Penske starting for him in turn 1, in addition to the other spotters that Dave talked about on countdown to green.
A little bit of trouble on the left rear. Here comes the leader, Tony Stewart in, Bill.
And he has told his crew, good car, no changes. Comes to a stop inside the box. The official counts the men over the wall, make sure that's legal. Right side tires go on. The fuel can weighing about 80 pounds, filling the rear of the car. Now they put on the left side tires. Good stop so far. We go to Matt.
Defending winner Bill Elliott, they've already made a chassis adjustment. His Dodge, a tick free on entry, and then tight. As it goes back and forth between tight and loose. They also made an air pressure adjustment, Dave.
Mark Martin was very happy with his car early, Matt. Then it went just a little bit tight. They are making only air pressure adjustments to try to help him. Trouble on the track. Alan?
It's actually on pit road. Dale Jarrett is turned around and facing the wrong way on pit road. Marty, what's up there?
The team actually chose this pit stop because they had so much room, but this morning they met together and told DJ it was going to be very tough to get to pit road. I talked to a spotter, Bob Jeffries, as you see Jimmy Johnson slide to a stop. We're trying to slow down a little bit. He said that was going to be DJ's toughest task. This is the first pit stall at the end of pit road. He had to get low down, then got spun around too much rear brake in the car, probably, wouldn't you say, Wally?
Yeah, that's especially if these cars are tight here, Marty. If you've got a tight race car, you're going to dial rear brake in to help loosen the car up. But you've got to remember that when you're making pit stop, because when you come down pit lane and jump on those brakes, you've got a lot of rear brake in the car, and that's going to spin you out.
The caution is coming out. The caution is coming out because of the situation on pit road involving Dale Jarrett's car. There is apparently a crewman down there, and they are putting the caution out so they can close the pit road.
Well, I wonder if any of these cars, we've had cars.
We'll get the guy right there along the wall there that they're working on.
So the caution is out so they can close the pit road, keep any more cars from coming down, and move some rescue workers onto pit road to further attend to the injured crew member.
Good move.
So yellow for the first time in the Brickyard 400.
There's Phil Horton, the white guy in the white shirt, the pit crew trainer and also coordinator for the 88 UPS team.
And we'll obviously find out more details on the situation as soon as it becomes available to us and pass it along to you.
Yeah, that's just too much rear brake in the car right there. Man, that's a scary situation.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at the jack.
Look at the jack, and they're going toward the, and the official just calmly, but look at the damage to the right front.
That's from hitting the
wall.
You get into the wall there, yeah. And when you're sitting there as a driver, you don't want to play anymore right now. You're feeling for that guy that's laying on the ground, your car's tore up, and your day is just about over. You're going to be a lap or two down, and that really, you really feel bad in a situation like that.
So again, pit road is closed and the caution is out because of the Dale Jarrett accident in his pit stall. Further details as soon as we can get them. For now, you're watching NASCAR on NBC. NBC Sports bringing you the 10th running of the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The caution flag is out for the first time in the race. The caution came out because Dale Jarrett's car spun coming into pit road and went through his pit box backwards, colliding with one of the members of his pit crew. We're waiting for NASCAR to confirm the identity of the pit crewman for us, and we'll get any status that we can on injuries as soon as possible. Jeff Gordon is, yeah, go ahead, Benny.
Pit road is closed, but Jeff Gordon, he doesn't have any choice. He doesn't have any choice, does he, Bill?
Had no choice at all. In fact, they'd already alerted Jimmy Johnson that they might have to push him if he ran out of fuel. Now, Matt Kenseth is still out on the track. He may already be out of fuel. Meanwhile, Gordon is on pit road. Said his car was a little loose, but good in traffic. Make a chassis adjustment, give him 4 tires, and watch for this all day. Get as much fuel as you possibly can into these cars. This could be a fuel mileage affair down the stretch. You want to get every mile you can. You'll have to go to the tail end of the longest line for pitting when pit road was closed.
And that today could be a long, long ways back. Man, oh man.
And that's one of those things we talked about earlier, BP, the track position. All you have to have is one little thing like that can ruin your day for a victory.
He started 19th, had worked his way up into the top 10, and is now to go back at least to 19th again, maybe even 30th.
Yeah, he was the leader when the caution came out. He was the #1 car until he just pulled off there. So now it's going to cost him a lot of ground. Matt?
The 97 team, they are almost out of gas as well. In fact, Kurt Busch told his spotter, tell Kenseth, who's right behind me, we may need a push. They said, he's in the same boat. He said, well, tell the 6, we both may be in trouble. And also, Kurt Busch cannot see the flag at the end of pit road. He was hoping that it wasn't green the last time by because he missed it.
I don't think he missed it being green.
No, he didn't. Pit road is still closed.
But you know, these guys would probably be wise just to go by that spot at about 10 miles per hour and go ahead and pit and accept the penalty, and rather than run out of gas somewhere on the backstretch.
Just run out of gas, that's it, you are done.
There's going to be a lot of them have to make that choice that Jeff Gordon just did here any second now.
They're displaying the red.
No, that's at the end of pit road, Ben.
Oh, it's a red flag. Okay, right. I'm sorry.
That's the red flag that signals pit road is closed.
Hey, pit no matter what here, don't you, Rob? You think we're that close? I mean, the fuel pressure is the same as it was last lap.
Matt Kenseth.
You got to go. You got to come in. What's going on down there in the 88 pit, Marty?
Well, Wally, we can tell you that it is Jackman John Bryan, the same one who was injured 2 years ago at Homestead in that accident on pit road there. Sean Parker, how's John?
He's awake and alert, but his legs are pretty sore, and I don't know what happened. We'll have to wait and see what the doctor says.
You know what happened on pit road to cause the accident, Sean?
Well, I mean, you try to race on these racetracks that are 2.5 miles, and pit road's not even wide enough for 2 cars on it, and we're doing green flag pit stops, and, you know, Dale was doing what he had to do. It's not his fault by any means, and he's just coming in to a green flag stop and couldn't get the car slowed down, but this is racing, and you shouldn't be racing on pit roads like this anyways.
Championship leader on pit road, Bill.
Chassis adjustment for Matt Kenseth, made it here under his own power, so it must have just been a fuel stumble out on the racetrack. 4 tires and fuel, Matt.
Bill, his teammate Kurt Busch couldn't hold out any longer. They pitted as well. They already made a chassis adjustment and an air pressure adjustment. Kurt Busch was complaining the car just was way too tight, would not cut in the corner.
There's going to be a lot of cars trying to get to the tail end of the longest line on this deal.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is another one. I mean, these guys didn't have any choice. About 38, 39 laps is the first, you know, that's as far as you can go on that first stop. We run 40 laps, although a few of them under the caution flag in the pace laps, but these guys had to be just about out of fuel.
Still working with the safety personnel at the end of pit road, and the pit lane is still closed. We'll take a break from the Brickyard 400.
Back at the Brickyard, pit road is now open. A number of cars that had already pitted back on pit road. Fuel only for Tony Stewart. He had stopped before the caution came out. Gets fuel, he's back on his way.
Fuel, I think they hand him a nice cold drink there.
Kevin Harvick, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jamie McMurray leaving pit road. So these cars that have already stopped choosing to top off. And it's a good call because all the people who pitted while pit road was closed are going to have to drop back behind them for the restart. Now NASCAR's going to have their hands full sorting this one out. We are still under caution. Ryan Newman being shown as the leader. We broke away from the commercial to bring you the pit stops, so let's go finish up our business. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Brickyard 400. Some 300,000 fans on hand here today to watch its 10th running, and you're seeing it live on NBC Sports. Under caution for the first time in this race, the field had just begun a series of green flag pit stops when Dale Jarrett lost control of his car, coming to pit road to one of the first stalls up at the pit entrance.
And he's running 130, 40 miles per hour, tries to slow down to 55 to get in his pit. As Wally said, the rear brakes locked up, and backwards he goes, but meanwhile he makes contact with his jack man, John Bryan, and you see his jack going on down pit road. Let's go on board with DJ and listen.
Right over here, right over here, right over
here. Of course, John Bryan was involved in a very scary and injured in a very scary pit road accident at the Homestead Miami Speedway a few years back. Casey Atwood in that red 19 car comes out of his pit, and Ward Burton exits his, knocking Ward's car right into what was then the 28 pit crew. John Bryan and Bobby Burrell were injured in this accident. Fortunately, both recovered.
And go ahead.
And go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and you know, when you're coming in for green flags, normally it's better for, you know, as a driver, you want to come in because it's more room. When you come in under the yellow and everybody comes in at the same time, that's when the pits are crazy. But normally it's a little bit better when it's green flag. Marty?
Well, I talked to John Bryan actually for a long time this morning standing in this pit stall, and he talked about how worried he was about how narrow these pit stalls are. Here at Indianapolis, 14 feet 6 inches all the way across to the yellow line, which the Winston Cup cars are allowed. Most pit boxes at normal racetrack are 18 to 19 feet. Doesn't allow anyone much room to work, especially the jackman. But this was not a case of that. John also said that safety of guys on pit road is the responsibility of the driver, not blaming what happened on Dale Jarrett. Dale didn't have much to do because he had the first pit stall coming in on pit road. So a lot of things came together to make this happen, but John was worried about the safety of all the the people on pit road before this race even started because of these narrow pit boxes here at Indianapolis.
You're right, Marty. Most of the guys that are pitting on pit lane hit that line where Dale Jarrett is pitting at 50 or 55 or whatever the limit is. He's got to hit that thing and stop. So he's really charging that pit. That's a difficult pit. You know, that's not one of those places normally you want to pick, except for it's empty getting in, so you've got a clear spot coming in.
Marty was talking about 14 feet 6 inches to the yellow line.
We're talking about in here, the yellow line from pit wall out to the yellow line.
And what's unique about this place, you've got that pit wall that separates the pits and the racetrack, where there's a lot of other racetracks where you have room in case you need to get away from somebody pulling out of a pit. You can get in the grass a little bit, but not here in Indianapolis.
And of course, the accident at Homestead that we showed you a few years ago was responsible for crew members being required to wear helmets on pit road now.
And Bobby Burrell, you talked about, is changing the tires on the Zero car today.
The field is coming to the restart. You see Jeff Gordon being passed by a number of cars.
As Dale Jr.
The people who came in while pit road is closed have to restart at the end of the line, so they're trying to get them all lined up in the proper order. Our NASCAR Busch Series update. Thrilling race last night at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Short track across town. Brian Vickers with his first NASCAR Busch Series win. Driving for Hendrick Motorsports. Congratulations to him. And a tight championship race.
That is tight. Very tight.
As they head to Michigan a week from Saturday. Carl Edwards, the Missourian, with his second win of the season, driving for Roush Racing. Also at IRP that Friday night, and another great championship fight for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Marty.
Guys, real quick, good things always come out of bad things. As you mentioned, Alan, one of the great things to come out of that accident at Homestead, that all the crew members on pit road wear helmets. This is a piece of the helmet that fell off of John Bryan's just a moment ago. It cracked when he hit the wall. Imagine what could have happened if that helmet would not have been on. Just so thankful that we have these today.
And that's actually a part of the visor, isn't it, Marty?
It is a part of the visor, the front visor on the right side, Wally.
Getting set to go.
There you see the restart line. That's where these cars must wait until they get to there to hit the accelerator. It's somewhere in that area. Now, that's not a precise spot, but if right now, if he would have hit the accelerator, NASCAR would black flag him for being too soon.
The leader of the race is Ryan Newman, but he is not the first car at the head of the field. Robbie Gordon was the first car at the head of the field. He is what we call tail end of the lead lap. He had pitted under the green flag. Pace car came out, picked up the leaders. Other guys pulled off the pit. That put Robbie up behind the pace car, but literally 2.5 miles behind leader Ryan Newman.
Robbie's praying for a yellow right now. It's a bunch of these other guys as well, because that's a lot of ground to make up on the racetrack under the green.
Well, they're working on the yellow flag just as hard as they can.
Rusty Wallace with a bold move to the inside.
And puts Tony Stewart on the outside about 2 or 3 wide.
This is for the lead, remember. Newman, Wallace, Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick, Bill Elliott, they're all mixed up in that pack of lap cars.
And Tony was caught behind the 91 car. Now he goes on the middle, 3 wide down the front stretch. And blows by Rusty Wallace. But here comes Rusty back.
Well, that was actually pretty nice of Rusty. He didn't need to give him that room, but he did pull over way down to the left, gave Tony Stewart the room to get in there. Could have blocked him behind that car.
There's that caution flag. John Andretti, hard contact with the wall.
We just got turned and got the left rear. The left rear is pushed down.
John was running 18th. Trying to get it refired and drive back.
Now this is what Robbie needed, and a lot of those cars needed big time to get back in the race.
So they need to get to the start-finish line and the caution flag in front of race leader Ryan Newman. That's Newman in the 12. And all those cars in front of him are going to get to come back around and make up 2.5 miles when the pace car comes out in front of the 12 car.
That's a free pass.
For 2.5 miles. Wow, how cool is that?
There's a lot of yoo-hoos going on in those race cars right now.
They're happy boys.
That's going to put 37 cars on the lead lap now.
I mean, the problem is, once you get a lap down, winning is impossible.
Almost here. You're right, BP.
So what happened to John Andretti?
He got turned, according to the spotter. And
yeah, they got bottled up. Looked like Matt Kenseth and Michael Waltrip were kind of bottled up down there. And 81 jumped on the brakes, and I didn't catch who.
74.
Tony Raines.
Tony Raines got into him.
So what started out to be a great weekend, John qualifying 11th for that Dale Earnhardt Incorporated car, had to drop to the back for an engine change. Now he's going to the garage. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team won the McDonald's drive-through pit championship, fueled by Powerade at Pocono. Their car spent the least amount of time on pit road among participating teams in last Sunday's race, their third such victory of the season. Michael Waltrip's team continuing to lead the season-long standings in the McDonald's Powerade pit crew competition.
That's going to make some nice DEI conversation. Those two guys leading the challenge. Marty?
And guys, a very beneficial caution for Dale Earnhardt Jr. last time. They had left a lug loose on the right rear. He immediately said, guys, we got a vibration and a problem. Came in, put 4 tires on, vibration gone now.
Boy, that's dodging a bullet.
Oh, man.
Because that would have been a big problem. He'd have to come back in. That wheel would fall off eventually.
And if he did it under green, he was going to be way behind.
Yes, sir.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 27th position now as we continue to clean up from the crash involving John Andretti. Ryan Newman leads. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Opened in the early 1900s, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the most famous race course in the world. Today filled with 300,000 fans to see the Brickyard 400's 10th running. All right, let's take a look at our singular race talk poll question. We want you to vote. We thought this would be an appropriate topic. Which Indiana native has the best chance to win today's Brickyard 400? Unfortunately, we can eliminate one of those from the list.
If you pick D, not a good pick right now.
Yeah, John Andretti in the garage after being involved in an accident here moments ago. Cast a vote, and we shall see whom you think will have the best chance momentarily. Got a good shot the way they're running. First, second, 11th.
And 36 for Tony Raines.
Yeah, first try here at Indianapolis for Tony, the rookie driver.
Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart 1-2. I know I've got my pick of that group.
Want to write it down? I'll see whether you agree with the rest of the fans.
You already know my pick.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Coming to the green. Ryan Newman the leader, Tony Stewart second. Third is Rusty Wallace. Jimmy Johnson is fourth. Kevin Harvick is fifth. Followed by Bill Elliott, Dave Blaney, Jamie McMurray, Jeff Green, and Sterling Marlin. Jeff Gordon is back up to 11th by not pitting under the caution.
Green, green, green.
And we're back at it.
Rusty Wallace caught a tough break. Having to go by the lap car on the outside down in turn 1. Lost 3 or 4 car lengths.
Tony Stewart.
Here he goes for the lead.
Now we'll see some horsepower.
Wow. Orange is the color of the day here at Indianapolis. Listen to the crowd.
See that 12 car losing nose right there?
Just gets behind the 20 car, catches some of that what we call dirty air, or loses the air downforce on the nose of his car and will not turn properly.
Just slid right up the racetrack.
Yes, strong as Tony was in making that pass, that might have just influenced our race talk poll, you think?
Might have.
Hey, he radioed in a little while ago that when he switched ignition boxes and the car took off, it was like winning the lottery. What do you think it'd be like if he won the race?
Better than winning the lottery,
yeah.
Better than winning the lottery for Tony Stewart.
So Stewart leading the Brickyard 400 for the second time today. Top 4 tightly bunched together. Kevin Harvick just a few lengths back in 5th. Ooh, Rusty. 2 car pushing up a little bit off the bottom there. Oh, maybe Jimmy Johnson was going to be able to jump under him.
Jimmy Johnson smiling right now. Do that one more time, Rusty.
Approaching 200 miles an hour as they barrel off into the corner. Now, a lot of the guys talk about a difference between turns 1 and turn 3 here. A lot of it visually because of the grandstands on both sides of the track.
It is, Alan, because when When you drive down the straightaway going into turn 1, you've got the grandstands on both sides. You cannot see into turn 1. You only see it when you get there. Where turn 3, you can actually see through the corner when you're driving down the backstretch entering turn 3. So it's a little bit less intimidating.
Here are some of the guys who pitted on that last caution, like Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to pick their way back up through the field. 8 cars up to 19th. Johnny Benson in the 10.
Mark Martin trying to get a spot on Robbie Gordon.
That'd be 22nd place.
Jimmy Johnson, the Lowe's car, still trying to get alongside Rusty Wallace, take over 3rd spot. Talking to some guys in the garage here this morning, the 2 and the 12, both those teams seem to want to gamble on a setup today being overcast because they feel like that some clouds are going to move in, and they set their cars up a little bit loose, thinking when it became overcast that would tighten them up. So far, the clouds have stayed away. That might be bothering Rusty Wallace and Ryan Newman both right now, although Newman hanging pretty good with Tony Stewart.
And Kevin
wow,
Harvick.
that right there, that's strong. See how that 48 car picked up on that 2 car on the entry there? It's just a matter of time before he passes Rusty if his car's that's good.
How about right here?
Okay.
Well, couldn't do it. Thought he had a nose on him.
If Harvick will go with him when he pulls out, they'll both go by the 2 car.
Oh, Harvick's going to drive down. Yeah, he's going to go with him.
Other ideas.
He's on a different agenda.
He doesn't want to help the 48 car.
He's on his own agenda.
Want to help himself.
That's right. Kevin Harvick started on pole today. Led the opening 17 laps before getting overtaken by Bill Elliott for the lead.
Work with me, we'll get by the 2.
See what he's saying?
Yeah.
Help me, man. When I pull out, we'll both go by.
Rusty Wallace, what a record here at Indianapolis. He's finished 2nd 2 of the last 3 years. 8 top 10 finishes in 9 tries here. The only laps he's failed to finish at Indianapolis came in 1997 when he had an engine failure. Other than that, lead lap every time. Yet, one of the sport's most accomplished drivers does not have a Brickyard 400 Winners Trophy, Bill.
And right now, Alan, after that last pit stop, when they took a rubber out of the left rear, the car was tight before. It's still tight. You talk to Rusty, just like all these drivers, they want to win the Brickyard. But he wants to win here, especially for Roger Penske, his car owner. 13 times Penske has gone to victory in the Indianapolis 500, but Penske 0 for 9 in the Brickyard 400. Rusty driving, Roger spotting, high atop turn 1 here today.
Bill, is he complaining? It looks like the car is tight in on turn in. Is that where he's having the problems, or is it elsewhere?
That seems to be what they're working on there. And yesterday, remember, Wally, in happy hour, he was loose. They were working on that.
That's right.
As Benny talked about, the 2 is 1 car that is, there's no more being conservative with these guys. Crew Chief Bill Wilburn told me this morning, we talked about how they're trying to get Rusty more and more to what you want to call today's type setup. And I said, you're still taking baby steps. And he goes, no more baby steps. We're taking giant steps, and Rusty's being good about it. Billy did admit he and Rusty don't agree on everything on some of those things, but the goal is to make the car better, and they are working together on that.
Sometimes it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, isn't it, BP?
It sure is.
About to complete 150 miles in the 10th running of the Brickyard 400. Tony Stewart and Ryan Newman, 2 Indiana drivers, hold the top 2 spots. Will one of their boyhood dreams come true today?
Back home again in Indiana, Tony Stewart continues to lead the Brickyard 400 after 61 laps. Had his heart broken here so many times, but they came here with a goal to get Tony back to victory lane. There are 300,000 people here today. A lot of them Tony Stewart fans. They'll want to go to the party if this guy wins today. Tony Stewart continues to lead. Let's take you through the field. We'll start with that 20 car. We told you a few moments ago, he said when he switched ignition boxes to get rid of that popping sound in the motor, it was like hitting the lottery. He's leading right now. Behind him, the 12 of Ryan Newman. The car not bad right now. It's tight in turns 1 and 2, but okay in 3 and 4. As for Rusty Wallace, the car is a little tight. They took a rubber out of the left rear on the last pit stop. Still tight for that Miller Lite Dodge.
Jimmy Johnson still trying to work on Rusty Wallace's car. Back on lap 36 was extremely tight. They made an air pressure and track bar adjustment. It has helped to free the car up, but he still can't make his way by the 2. Meanwhile, the 29 of Kevin Harvick, his car has gone to the tight side. An air pressure and track bar back on lap 35 hasn't really helped. He came back in on lap 41 to top off for fuel. They should be good on 2 more stops. Meanwhile, last year's winner, Bill Elliott, not very good in turn 1. It's tight, but it's great down in 3 and 4. The only problem they've had besides that, Mike Ford, the crew chief, has had to change radios 3 separate times. They almost missed calling Bill into the pits, Bill.
Checking out Jamie McMurray, just got around his teammate Sterling Marlin in the 40 car. McMurray in the 42 having a strong run really fast before that first round of pit stop. Has been good since, hasn't made the progress he was hoping for. Car's really balanced, no changes. As for Sterling Marlin, a quiet day, did just lose that spot, so he fell back to 8th. Long race though, good run so far for Sterling. As for Matt Kenseth, you're gonna need to look at the front of the car. They got some damage when that caution came out last time. Matt said some of the temperatures started to go up, but they checked it out. Robbie Reiser told me everything appears to be okay, but we will keep an eye on Matt Kenseth's nose. Let's check out the 10th place car.
That's a 77, Bill, of Dave Blaney. It was a little bit tight in the early stages, but when the caution came out, that first caution, he was almost out of fuel. They stayed out, they came in, they fixed that condition. Now it's just a little bit tight, better than it was. Alan?
Closing in on halfway in the Brickyard 400. 5 different drivers have led today, but the man out in front right now is Tony Stewart. He's led the most laps. He's up on Ryan Newman by 1 3/4 seconds and working his way through some lap traffic. Let's continue going through the field. How about the 11th place car, Marty?
Alan, Jeff Green started 30th today, got up to 11th by making the fuel last longer than anyone else did. The biggest debate they had yesterday was whether or not to change the right front spring. Jeff just came on the radio. Wrong right front spring, guys. Too loose. Bill?
Jeff Gordon, 3-time winner of the Brickyard 400, going for his 4th. Easy to sum up here for this Indiana boy. Car tight right now. Matt?
Kurt Busch runs in the 13th position, qualified 6th after all the drama has settled down from pitting when pit road was closed. Right now, though, the car still tight. They made an air pressure and wedge adjustment on his last stop. Now Jimmy Finney's crew chief calling for more aggressive air pressure adjustment in that right rear. Bill?
Bobby Labonte running behind the 97. Sounds more like Perry Mason than Bobby Labonte. Trying to solve a big mystery here. They put a rubber in the right rear end, made an air pressure adjustment, but he's sliding the nose and the rear end wants to come around. He said if you fix the nose, I can work with the other parts, but I can't tell you what to do.
At 15, Michael Waltrip runs in the 15th position. Earlier, he was battling a horrendous push up off the corner. He had to change his line. That helped. But he said he hasn't really been able to see how this race car will do. An air pressure adjustment last time out of both right side tires, Dave.
Matt, Steve Park was pitting when the first caution came out. His crew chief told him to keep going. He got speeding penalty down pit road. He got another penalty when he came in too early. They've recovered from that. The car's pretty good now. Marty?
Dillon Hart Jr. started 36, has worked his way up to 17th. Of course, he fell back earlier, now he's worked his way back up to the front of the field. He wants the same adjustment they made last time, just a little bit tight for Junior, Dave.
Mike Skinner put it under green. He went down a lap. They fixed a tight condition. He got that free pass when John Andretti wrecked. He's back on the lead lap. 6 car Mark Martin also pitted under green. They really didn't want to come in and change. He got the free pass as well. He didn't want to change the tires because he loved them, but they went ahead and did it anyway because they thought they might have run over some debris on the left front. Marty?
Johnny Benson finished 3rd in his first ever Indianapolis race and hasn't been able to duplicate the success too much since then. Had another top 5 later on. A little bit tight, just passed by the 5 of Terry Labonte, but Johnny Benson turning the fastest laps he's turned all day long. Let's talk about Labonte real quick. He's just a little bit tight. Remember, they got off sequence earlier from everyone else. They came in, they had a hole in the right rear tire. That's what put Labonte back in the field. Matt?
Meanwhile, Robbie Gordon, who almost won the Indy 500 a few years ago, runs in the 22nd position. Early scare contact. They thought they had a left rear going down. Right now, though, Robbie's still fighting a very tight race car. Marty?
Ricky Rudd in consecutive start number 701, actually doing a lot better than they thought they would. They were very worried about this car in happy hour. Right now, sliding the nose just a little bit so that I need more front grip. Dave?
The 38 car of Elliott Sadler, they pitted on lap 34 under green. They fixed the car because it was just a little bit tight. Then they came in on lap 47 and topped off the fuel. He can go a long way. The 16 of Greg Biffle's been fighting a problem all weekend. They only got 3-lap stints during practice. They could never really work on the car, but the tight condition that he started out with on the early part of the day has gotten better. Matt?
Joe Nemechek qualified 7th, coming off his first top 10, a 7th last week since he won at Richmond. He's been battling a tight race car as well. He pitted on lap 47 for 4 tires and fuel and an air pressure adjustment, Marty.
Matt, this morning, Paul Andrews, the crew chief for Jeff Burton, told me if the sun comes out, we will be good. Well, the sun's out, and they're not too good. The car just too tight for Burton. Kind of surprised about this. They thought they would be much better today. Alan?
So we've taken you 27 deep into the field. In that through the field, there are 36 cars on the lead lap of the 43 starters. 1 car retired from the race. John Andretti done for the day after the crash of a little while ago. And now the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield is in the garage, and his crew is attending to his ailing machine. Second place card. What's up there, Bill?
Just want to keep an eye on this. Ryan just radioed in. The car feels as if it has a wheel out of balance. That could be a number of things. Matt Borland told him just hang on and we'll correct the problem the next stop. The question is, when will that be?
Yeah, and hopefully it's not a wheel coming loose.
Yeah. A loose lug nut. I mean, these guys are changing these stops in 13, 14 seconds. And to do that, you can't go back and hit that lug nut again to make sure that it's tight. You hit 5, you go on 5 times, you take the gun off, you go to the next tire.
Here's an update that we just received on John Bryan, the jackman for Dale Jarrett's car that was injured in the pit road crash a little bit earlier. John has been transferred to the local hospital in Indianapolis, Methodist Hospital, for further treatment and observation, though he is alert and awake. And any further information we get on John, we'll pass along to you later on in our broadcast. 10 laps from halfway in the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Native son Tony Stewart trying to pick up the win. So how big is this racetrack? Big enough that 4 holes of the 18-hole Brickyard Crossing Championship course are in the infield. And there's still plenty of room for the spectators and the motorhomes and the transporters and the garages and the press and everything else.
And I played those 4 holes on Thursday.
Did you play them good?
Along with the other 14 holes on the outside. No, not too well.
Here's the answer to the Singular Race Talk. Well, I shouldn't say answer. Here are your votes to the Singular Race Talk poll. Who you think will win today among the Indiana drivers? Tony Stewart has the best chance.
Now, when was this first put up? When we first put it up?
Just don't go there. They're John Andretti fans, and they wanted to vote and support him anyway. Okay?
There you go.
I mean, come on. You had people pull for you in races.
They knew Tony Stewart, so I got the majority again.
Cut me right off there, didn't you? And there they are, 1st and 2nd, 11th, and Tony Raines, the rookie, hanging in 32nd. Tony Stewart up by a 1.5 seconds on Ryan Newman, with Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Johnson, and Jamie McMurray making up the rest of the top 5. Matt Kenseth has moved to 6th. Kevin Harvick has slipped back to 7th, followed by Bill Elliott, Sterling Marlin, and Jeff Green with a nice run to 10th place.
And look at this 42 car. Jamie McMurray has caught this group on Jimmy Johnson and Rusty Wallace. I think that McMurray, it may be the 3rd fastest car in the race. He may be even faster than Stewart and Newman in certain situations.
Well, Jimmy Johnson's car is awfully good. The problem with Jimmy Johnson is he's trying to pass one of the hardest guys in NASCAR racing to get by. Rusty Wallace is difficult to pass. As you can see, Rusty makes his car very wide at times.
How about McMurray underneath Johnson, Matt?
And Jimmy Johnson, not a happy camper. He's trying to hold off the 42 car. In fact, he told his spotter, ask Rusty's spotter if they will move over. They know I'm faster. Rusty said no. Every inch here means so much. Track position is so key. Chad Knaus trying to motivate his driver, but also just trying to calm him down. He said, keep the fenders on it. We'll be fine.
Yeah, well, that's what you want him to do. I mean, this is racing, so a guy's not normally going to pull over for you, especially here at Indianapolis. This is a big event, but, you know, it's so difficult to pass here. And as these guys are dicing, there comes Matt Kenseth,
championship leader in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series.
Now, see, if the 48 would pull out and the 42 would go with them, I think they could draft by Rusty. but all the 42's got in mind right now is getting by the 48.
One of the homegrown Indiana drivers is out of the Brickyard 400, Dave.
Yeah, and his damaged car sits behind him. John, what was the deal out there? Just guys getting stacked up in front of you?
Yeah, that's basically what happened. I don't know what happened to cause them to have to all check up, but as it got to be an accordion, and I got to be the middle one, and I got stopped before I got into the guy in front of me, but the guy behind me couldn't go out. He was the first guy that couldn't get stopped, and unfortunately, I ended up paying the price.
How frustrating is that when you got a great race car and it's just a matter of the guy behind you doesn't stop, just like you were able to?
I don't expect anything different right now. It just always seems to be that way. You always feel like you're in the wrong place, but I'm in the same place that everybody else is, so it just happens to be one of those circumstances. I know the guy that raced and the guy that ended up getting in the back of me, and certainly he's never a guy that would race like that. So, you know, it had nothing to do with anything other than the fact that he just couldn't get stopped. And it's unfortunate for the Kraft Chevy, but who knows, maybe sometime I'll get to drive here again.
All right, guys, always great to have an Andretti in the race. Always bad to have one out of it. Alan?
These guys are going at it. And I'll tell you what, Jimmy Johnson is not a happy camper right now.
What a great move by McMurray, though. He got that position on the outside. Now look, is Matt Kenseth's going to go three wide?
See the hand coming down of Jimmy Johnson's window? I'm telling you, man, he is hot. But Jamie's doing what he's got to do.
Exactly. I thought it was a great move to get on the outside, going down in the corner. And when Johnson blocked it, dove down on the inside, did that crossover, and Jimmy loses another spot. And he's going to be even hotter now.
Yeah, now Jimmy's just got to regroup here. He lost 2 spots. He's just got to regroup, cool down, go after it.
That was Jimmy saying, I'm tired of being smart.
We'll be fine, all right? We'll be fine.
All right, Matt, what do you got?
Well, Wally's strategy that Jimmy Johnson should try to hook up with somebody
Go ahead, Matt.
is exactly what Jimmy was trying to do. In fact, they were trying to get Kevin Harvick to help out, but unfortunately, Harvick's car had gotten tighter and tighter and tighter, and he slowly faded, so he lost his drafting partner, and then Jimmy lost a few spots.
But you're right, Wally. Matt Kenseth is definitely running hot.
Yeah, because he keeps diving down there.
He keeps diving down to get some air to go through the grill, that 17 car. So he has to be concerned about it.
Somebody just got told to come to pit this time in this group. We are coming up on some green flag pit stops. The leader, Tony Stewart, was last in at lap 41. We're at 79 now.
Here comes a 48 in a hurry.
Yep. 55 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit here in Indy.
And that was a great call by Chad Knaus, because right now he needs to calm his driver down, and what a better way to do it than a pit stop, Matt.
You're exactly right, Benny, and exactly. Lap 80 was when they had planned on pitting. Lap 79, going to hit pit road, going to try to adjust on that race car. They had freed it up, but actually they freed it up a little too much. He said it was just a tick free on entry as they go to work on Jimmy Johnson Chevrolet. You can see the wedge wrench going in the back window. They're going to adjust on that race car, as well as air pressure. They go to work on the left side. Ryan Pepe hits the lugs.
Hey, Matt, you're not running, are you?
Great pit stop, 13.3, and great hustle by Matt Yoakum. Attaboy, Matt, way to hustle.
Not running down the pit lane.
We got it covered, guys.
Nice to hear you working hard, Matt. Rusty Wallace comes to pit road. Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte are ducking in behind him. Bill, here comes Rusty.
Yeah, it's going to get real busy right here on this section of pit road. I'll tell you, Rusty Wallace, that's not an old Rusty Wallace out there. That's the Rusty Wallace of old. Very aggressive, very focused on the racetrack, fighting for every position. Car's a little tight, in, loose off, going to make a track bar adjustment. Give him 4 tires, put the fuel in, just past halfway. These guys just have to get good fuel mileage to take a fairway off from Rusty. Jeff Gordon around to the right side, now around to the left for Gordon. His car just a little bit off, trying to get to the front of the field, work his way through traffic. He's got his fuel, his tires. Bobby Labonte will follow him off of pit road. Waiting for Ryan Newman to come this way, then Tony Stewart.
Got Steve Park leaving the pit lane. Jeff Burton is in for service. Jason Leffler is on the pit road. And Kevin Harvick coming in now. And here comes Ryan Newman. Second place car. Bill?
And the report is out of fuel on the 12. Matt Borland told me this morning their fuel mileage is not the best. They make a lot of power, but that uses a lot of fuel. Something we were all talking about this morning. Ryan has it restarted already. It was was coasting when he got here. They're going to make a track bar adjustment, wedge adjustment rather, 4 tires. Lots of fuel being spilled there. That could be trouble. Now the car has stopped. Now they're going to have to add. He's got it, and he's on his way. Wow.
A very clean stop for Kevin Harvick. They made a wedge adjustment and air pressure adjustment. He felt like he'd lost the right front tire. The car was just too tight.
Tony Stewart, the race leader, comes on to pit road for his service, giving Matt Kenseth the lead, Bill.
Around to the right side on Tony. He said the car is real good right now. It does get a little tight later in the runs. That's not a problem. Been an outstanding run for him so far. Trying to go to victory for the first time in Indianapolis. Old Dodge Sterling Marlin. Sterling pulls into his pit stall, having a solid run. Nothing spectacular, but good and solid at the halfway point. Chassis adjustment, tires and fuel for Marlin. The 42 also away.
Jamie McMurray leaving. Michael Waltrip is in. Here comes Bill Elliott onto pit road. Matt?
And they brought the Pocono car here to Indy. It ran well there. They felt like it would run well here. They made the quick changeover. Michael says now he's a half a pound down in all 4 tires, and I will be happy. That's exactly what Slugger Labby gave him. They packed that fuel cell full of fuel. The 17's coming to you, Bill.
Matt has been very fast out on the racetrack, got his bonus points for leading. They were concerned about damage on the nose of this car. Robbie Reiser told me that it was not a problem. It looks okay on this pit stop. They cleaned the grill, used that brush, make a chassis adjustment on the left side, gets the right side tires. Looks like it took a little long on the right front. Now they'll come around to the left side. So Matt Kenseth, 232-point lead in the championship standings. All the fuel is in, and he's on his way. Matt.
55 miles per hour. Kurt Busch makes his way down pit road. His crew is waiting to service his Ford. He said the car just extremely tight. He said he wants 4 turns on the track bar. That should get us going. We have to make major adjustments. We can't waste our time on little adjustments where we're going to run out of time. Jimmy Finnick said 10-4. A little bit of trouble on the left front, but service complete for Kurt Busch. Marty?
Matty, look who has become the leader. Jeff Green has made his way all the way to the front of the field. The car is loose, and unlike other cars, it does not get tighter the longer he runs. A pound into the right front for Jeff Green, a pound out of the right rear. That should tighten up that car just a little bit. This team has finished 7th in the last 2 Brickyard 400s, making another run to the front. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is teammate on pit road. These DEI cars are making the fuel mileage last. Really tight for Junior. They're going to pull a rubber out of the left rear. This will be a little bit longer of a stop, but it should loosen up his race car.
And Junior heads back out. Mark Martin is now the leader. Not yet made his pit stop. Got 5 drivers who haven't pitted yet. Martin, Robbie Gordon, Joe Nemechek, Mike Skinner, and Ricky Craven. And then the lead will go back into the hands of Tony Stewart. At the ticker at the top of the screen, the names in white have not yet pitted. The names in yellow are those that have already made their stops.
Now, did I see there Jimmy Johnson get out ahead of Rusty?
Yes, he did. He's about a second ahead of Rusty Wallace right now, as a matter of fact.
So the boys in the pits on the Lowe's team did their job.
That was a great pit stop. A little over 13 seconds for Jimmy Johnson's crew.
He worked on Rusty for how many laps? He came in and those guys gave him that spot.
So waiting to see Mark Martin come to pit road. And again, he's the race leader now as we continue this cycle of stops just past the midway point of the Brickyard 400. Now, remember we told you Ryan Newman was out of fuel coming to pit road. Here's Tony Stewart, who will take the race lead again. And look at how much time Ryan Newman has lost to Tony as a result of that stop.
21 seconds.
He was only about a second and a half or so behind him on the racetrack before the pit stop. And it cost him 20 seconds. Check out how much that 20 seconds is worth. Can you hum like the Jeopardy theme?
That's a long time.
When they're waiting for you to write your answer down?
No, I can't.
All right, now come on, now. Where is he? Come on now. Ryan. There.
Wow.
Finally.
Unbelievable.
And I'll tell you, if he ran out of gas before he got to pit lane, he's lucky he didn't get black for speed. Because when you run out of gas, you have no idea how fast you are coming down pit road. So he probably came down a little bit slower.
That's right. But Ryan Newman did a very smart thing. When he ran out of fuel, he immediately turned it off and coasted in so that he had just a little bit of fuel left in the carburetor to restart it once he got some gasoline in the tank.
You saw how far he was behind him. These straightaways at Indy, 5/8 of a mile long. That's what Ryan Newman lost. Joe Namath checks in. Matty?
Remember, they pitted last on lap 47 for 4 tires and fuel. That's exactly what they're doing on this stop. One of the last cars to stop under this cycle. Today, Burns.
Six car, Mark Martin coming in now. They will go to the left-right side of that car. Jackman moving himself out into harm's way, gets the car up on the right side. Fill that full of fuel. They do need to make a chassis adjustment for Mark. Still trying to get that car loosened up for him right now. Second set of tires going on the left side. Matt.
Robbie Gordon comes to a stop. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. 1 pound out of the right rear. His car was just a tick on the free side as the left side tires go on. Mark Martin goes by on pit road. The 31's out of here.
Last one to cycle through the pit stops will be Casey Mears. And that puts Tony Stewart back into the lead. Jamie McMurray will go to second. And Rusty Wallace and Matt Kenseth have both just passed Jimmy Johnson. So even though Jimmy's crew got him out ahead of Rusty on the pit stops, he's lost the spots on the track. Casey Mears is in, completing the cycle of stops among the leaders. The Mears name so famous here at Indianapolis, Dave.
Casey, of course, the nephew of Rick Mears coming in now. Earlier the car was so tight, Casey was turning the car and made it feel loose, but they worked on getting the tight condition out of the car. Best words of all as he came in this time, 4 tires, no changes. Casey's now got a car that they can drive to the end of this race. He hopes that this won't be the last time he'll be stopping.
So the cycle of pit stops among the leaders is complete, and Tony Stewart is back out in front. 10 seconds ahead of Jamie McMurray. Something up with the 8 car, Marty?
Alan, and he may have to come back down pit road. Another vibration on the 8 car. Remember, they left lugs loose on the right rear earlier in the race. Junior came on the radio, said, same problem, guys. I don't know what's going on, but we have another vibration. They said, grind it out and see if it goes away. Came back on, and he said, guys, it ain't going away. I don't know what you want me to do. So they're going to leave him out there. He said, I'll keep you posted.
Oof. Well, it gets to the point eventually where you can't drive the race car. I mean, when those lugs get loose and they kind of wear out the holes on the thing, it just feels like the wheels coming off the race car.
Well, you've seen an old wagon going down through there with a wheel wobbling. That's basically what happens when those lug nuts loosen up. It just wobbles all over the place.
There's third place changing hands. Matt Kenseth, the championship leader, on the move. And that's even more important because Kenseth now in the top 3, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. maybe making an unscheduled pit stop here if that vibration gets worse. Junior's down an 18th spot. So Kenseth's already substantial lead in the NASCAR Winston Cup title chase could grow even more here in the Brickyard 400. Tony Stewart chasing his dream at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, trying to win the race here today. The canyon of fans surrounding the front stretch of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, unique on the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit. The 10th running of the Brickyard 400 going on now before those, part of the 300,000 estimated to be in attendance today. They're going to be making some kind of noise if that 20 car takes the checkered flag first. Rushville and Columbus, Indiana. Hometowner Tony Stewart is out in front. He is dominating this 10th running of NASCAR at Indy.
Last night we did the NASCAR Busch Series race over at IRP, and a little young man about 10, 12 years old had up a sign that said, you know, admission to the Busch race, $50 or whatever it was. Admission to the truck race. Admission to the Brickyard 400. Tony Stewart winning the Brickyard 400. Priceless.
Pit crew performance in our Powerade pit summary been pretty priceless for Tony Stewart. You see Ryan Newman losing the ground when he was out of fuel coming in. And although Rusty Wallace lost the spot to Jimmy Johnson on pit road, he quickly gained it back once they came on the track, and those two guys are nose to tail again.
But as we see Tony Stewart going around the racetrack, yes, he's got a big lead, but he's not the fastest car on the racetrack. The guy in second spot is faster. The question is, can Jamie McMurray make up 6.5 seconds?
Now here's Bill Elliott running all the way back in 16th place. Matt, what happened?
Well, he was running solidly in the top 10 right before he was going to make his pit stop, and they went one lap too far, and they ran out of gas. 41 laps on that run. They ran out of gas going into turn 3. It took him a long way to get to pit road. They made a major wedge adjustment to try to help that tight race car, but he has fallen definitely out of that top 10, Bill.
Well, we've been watching the 17 car of Matt Kenseth, and Benny, you've had an eye on him most of the day. Remember in that wreck that John Andretti was involved in, we talked about how Kenseth got a little bit of front end damage. Well, it has closed the front grille just a little bit. They took some tape off on the last pit stop. They're going to take some more off this time. But every now and then when Matt's in traffic, you will see him duck that nose into clean air to try and help cool the engine room.
Because he realizes he cannot get that water too hot. If he does, he will lose some. He will come out, the pressure will build, he'll lose some water, and once he does, then it's history.
And it's not an overly hot day. It's not in the 90s here. It's in the low to mid 80s at Indianapolis today, but still running around near 200 miles an hour. You need all the coolant you can get.
And the biggest problem is it's where, see, right now it's not too big a concern because he's by himself, but when you run around other cars, that's when you have to duck and find that free air. When he gets up to these other two cars, you'll see him duck down the inside.
How about our Stacker 2 NASCAR Winston Cup track fact? They call this place the Brickyard for good reason. The first track surface that was put down here in 1909 was made of crushed stone and tar, and it didn't fare too well when they got to competing on it. So they pulled it all up and used 3.2 million paving bricks to surface the track. Now that surface stayed intact until the 1930s. Then they began to put paving in parts of the corners. By the 40s, all but the main straight was paved, and they finally paved all but a yard of bricks before the 1961 season, or I should say after the 1961 Indianapolis 500. And now that yard of bricks symbolic here in Indianapolis. That's where you take the checkered flag and kiss the bricks if you win. Kenny Wallace on the Stacker 2 car there, running back in 29th position.
And Tony Stewart has been lapping some cars. The last few laps he's gone by Ricky Rudd, Kenny Wallace, and in doing that he's lost about 2.5 seconds to Jamie McMurray.
But Jamie's got to pass those same cars.
Yeah, that's true, although they might not give him as much trouble as they did the leader, Tony Stewart. There we see him. That time by, he gained another 0.4 of a second on Tony Stewart.
27-year-old Jamie McMurray of Joplin, Missouri. Remember the Cinderella story last fall at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. He was filling in for the injured Sterling Marlin. By all accounts, a surprise pick by team owner Chip Ganassi for that car. Went out and won the race in just his second NASCAR Winston Cup start.
There we see him in 3 laps, almost 2 seconds. He's gained on Tony Stewart.
Now let's see what happens when he gets past these 2 cars he's coming up on. We'll see how much ground he loses or if it maintains.
Yeah.
By the way, Kyle Petty has just taken his car to the garage. Gear problems on the 45. We'll check that interval between Tony Stewart and Jamie McMurray when we come back to the Brickyard 400.
That is a highway of racing heroes here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, surrounded by a cavern of fans. 300,000 of them are here today watching the 10th running of the Brickyard 400 live on NBC. And hometown Indiana boy Tony Stewart continues to lead. And you hear so many stories about Tony and his temper. Well, one story maybe you haven't heard revolves around a Pocono race a couple of years ago. There was a pickup softball game that involved some guys that work on the concession trucks. In fact, one of the guys on those trucks was Larry Hinkle. He ended up getting a leg injury in that pickup softball game and went to the hospital. And he had to stay in the hospital. Well, they ran the race and the Winston Cup Series moved on. Well, when he was recovered from his injury and ready to be released from the hospital, there was nobody there. His concession truck was gone. He sold souvenirs. There was no way for him to get home. Tony Stewart heard about it. He sent his pilot, Robert Burris, from Indiana to Pennsylvania to pick up Larry Hinkle and take him home to Florida and then fly the plane back to Indiana, all at Tony's expense. That's a story that not many people have heard, and it's the other side of Tony Stewart that Matt Yoakum spoke about on the Discover Card Countdown to Green. He's back home in Indiana at a track he would so dearly love to win, leading the Brickyard 400.
You know, going into turn 1 that time, I wonder if Tony didn't get a windshield full of oil there when he follow the 38 car in there.
Yeah, there'd been smoke reported from NASCAR spotters a couple of corners prior that the 38 car of Elliott Sadler was smoking. And in fact, caution is coming out for oil from the 38 car. Yellow flag here in the Brickyard 400 for the 3rd time in the race.
Elliott Sadler takes the car to pit road. The hood is raised by the crew. Dave, what are they saying?
Yeah, they think they dropped a cylinder, Benny, so they're going underneath to see if it's that or anything worse. And it could even be as small as a plug wire out, but they think it's more like a cylinder.
Yeah, I think it's more like a cylinder, Dave. There's a lot of smoke came out of that car when he got out of the throttle going into turn 1, just as Tony Stewart was right on the rear bumper of him.
And you saw, and you mentioned it, Tony waving at him like, pull that thing off the track.
Yeah, you need to get that thing inside. And normally he would, you don't do that unless there's oil pouring out of the back of a race car. So Tony probably saw the oil and was telling Elliott that it was leaking oil.
The oil cylinders are burning.
Last pit stops were 23 laps ago for Tony Stewart and a lot of the leaders. I'm just figuring here we're going to see a bunch of 2-tire pit stops.
Well, they might change 4 for fuel only the next time.
Right, that's what I was thinking, VP. Set it up for a gas and go at the end.
Yep.
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. Somebody's going to take 2 tires here, and they're going to get just 2 tires on the last stop, 2 or no tires.
Well, some of those guys in the back.
Sure, you got Jeff Gordon back in 15th place.
And Mark Martin back in 14th. Terry Labonte, that would be perfect for those guys. Kurt Busch. Yeah, I think some of those guys might try that, but the top 5 cars will probably all change 4.
Yeah, they'll take 4.
I'm with you on that. So we'll see what strategy is played out here and who comes away with the lead as the pace car gathers up the field down the backstretch at Indianapolis. 55 laps to go. More than you can make on one final fuel stop.
There's been some great pit stops today. All these guys are doing great pit stops today.
It was the 13-3 we saw from Tony Stewart's team last stop.
And even Matt, that last time, that 17 car, those guys had a problem on the right front, I think it was, came around and still did a 15-second pit stop.
Well, right now, we've got the 2 fastest cars, I feel like, in the field, maybe the 3 fastest cars, running 1, 2, 3.
And you know, caution a break for Ryan Newman. He's allowed to close up a lot of that gap he lost when he ran out of fuel there earlier under this caution.
Well, this is all about the pit crews right here.
Yep.
Who gets 2? Who gets 4?
And how fast can they do it?
Yes, sir. No mistakes. 5 on, 5 off is what the crew chief's telling those guys right now. Give me a good stop, boys.
And you see all those cars coming down pit road, all those cars on the lead lap. And Bill, slowly at 55 coming down to you.
Don't want to make any mistake getting to your pit stall, and this will be very interesting to watch. The 20 of Tony Stewart and the 42 of Jamie McMurray. Both crews say their cars are excellent. Don't plan to make any changes, just tires and fuel. The 20 is good. The 42 of McMurray also good. Let's see who wins the race off of pit road. Matt.
Back on lap 94, Jimmy Johnson said the car was neutral. Then it gone to both tight and loose. He said it lost its sweet spot. So they're making an air pressure adjustment, both the left rear and right front, and a track bar adjustment. It's going to be close up. Looks like the 42 and 17 are going to get him.
I think the 31's going to get them all.
And there's those guys that changed those 2 tires, Marty.
14-5 on the stop for the man who's second place in the championship. BP a little too loose to start, a little too tight at the end. They undid what they did last time. Pound back in the right front. Junior said we can catch him. We just need track position on that last stop.
So Dale Jr., Bill Elliott, Jeff Gordon rejoin the chase. We'll set the order in which they came off of pit road for you. Check on the strategies when we come back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the old Brickyard, the Brickyard 400. Here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the running order shuffled of the Brickyard 400 after that round of caution flag pit stops, and boy, was pit road a busy place.
Remember I was telling you earlier about, here we got the race off. Robbie beats him out, fuel only.
Yep, Bobby Labonte, just 2 tires. Then the first guy with 4, the 42 of Jamie McMurray. Where's Tony Stewart?
We still haven't seen Tony Stewart, the lead of the race. And Jimmy Johnson finally beats Rusty Wallace. And there finally comes Tony Stewart back in where?
8th place.
I was talking earlier about how it's easier to come in during the green because it's not as congested. This is what it looks like under yellow.
Cars just driving out in front of each other.
Now, let's see what it would look like if somebody runs out in traffic.
Watch the top of the screen. That tire gets away from Sterling Marlin's crew, and the crew has to retrieve it. Which way do I go?
Yikes. And Jeff Gordon goes on the inside of it, and the line of traffic goes on the outside.
What was it you said while we were in the commercial? Like bullfighting?
Yeah, this is bullfighting at its best here, without the bulls. Unfortunately, Sterling's going to have to come and
go to the back of the line.
Looked like the official was reaching his rear pocket for a penalty flag, didn't it?
Now, Tony Stewart back now in 7th place, now that Mike Skinner has finally pitted. What happened, Bill?
Just had a gun malfunction, Alan. The stop went well except for that, and that obviously costs you precious seconds on pit road. Dumps Tony back in the pack.
I saw that. It looked like it hung up on the right rear, didn't it, Bill?
I believe that's what it was. Still talking to the guys about it. They're looking at the videotape.
All right.
This is going to be exciting because Tony Stewart, I think they all realize if McMurray gets out in front of him and gets a 4 or 5 second lead, he might not catch it.
That's right.
Check our Chevy in-race leaderboard. The Bowtie Brigade doing very, very well at the Brickyard today. Leading 2nd, 5th, 7th, 8th. Of course, Tony Stewart's been the dominant guy today. Out in front for 60 of the 108 laps we've run.
Well, he's definitely been the dominant car. Matt, how about that 31 car? What are they saying?
Well, they moved from 17th all the way up to 1st. Kevin Hamlin, no tires. It's all about track position. They feel like if they can hold on and stay in the top 10 until their final stop somewhere around lap 120 or on, they will be good to go.
Yeah, we got a car with no tires, 2 tires and 4 tires, so we're about to see.
Oh, yeah.
Another one that got 2 tires on his stop. Ricky Craven moved him up to 9th position for this restart. So Robbie Gordon leads, Bobby Labonte 2nd, Jamie McMurray 3rd, Matt Kenseth 4th, Jimmy Johnson 5th, Rusty Wallace is 6th, Tony Stewart 7th, followed by Kevin Harvick, Ricky Craven, and Ryan Newman.
Okay, guys.
Tony Stewart's got a lot of guys on the inside, that inside line, so got a lot of cars to pass.
26 cars on the lead lap, cars on that inside lane, a lap or more down for the restart.
And that 41 car, Casey Mears, trying his best to stay in front of the leader to get a lap back in case the caution comes out.
Oh, Bobby Labonte ducked down behind the 41.
That was a block to keep Jamie McMurray behind him. I think they're figuring Casey Mears is going to get through Robbie Gordon. They figured wrong. At least to this point. And the orange car on the inside. Keep an eye on Tony Stewart trying to knife his way through this heavy traffic.
Labonte gets by Mears.
Oh, there's contact there. Yeah. Ricky Rudd.
Yeah,
man.
Rusty Wallace, maybe.
So Stewart gets by Wallace for 6th in that little shakeup. You know, restarts, the cars bunch so tightly together. We saw it happen earlier. John Andretti. It just takes a little accordion. Somebody having to step on the brakes. 4 or 5 cars back from that point. They can't react fast enough.
And right now, too, it's that time, like in Tony Stewart's situation, he's anxious in that seat right now. He's been out front. He's been taking his time, picking his line when you're out front. Now he's got to get by these cars. And he keeps looking at that scoreboard going, man, I've got to go. I can't let these guys get away. So there's a lot of anxiety right now in that seat in that 20 car.
So many times at Indianapolis, the 500 and in this 400. We've seen drivers with dominant cars fail to win. Stewart looking on Jimmy Johnson for 5th place.
And he's going to do it on the outside in the middle. Wow, what a move by Tony Stewart. Oh, sweet.
Man, that was strong.
Remember, the 41 car, Casey Mears, is a lap car. Next up for Tony Stewart to try and pass for position will be Kevin Harvick in the 29. Crossing my mind here, weather conditions. We've got a couple of cloudy spots across this front stretch, and the shadows from the turn 1 grandstand beginning to grow. So the conditions and the grip for the cars will begin to change and affect the handling a little bit.
There we see the leader, Robbie Gordon, going by Jamie McMurray. Not that far behind him. Matt Kenseth still within 1 second of the lead.
There's McMurray and Gordon, Labonte, Harvick, and now Tony Stewart.
McMurray was looking for the lead. And Tony Stewart right now is a little over 3 seconds behind this leader. Wow. If McMurray can get by quickly.
He's going to get by. Robbie really pushed out on the entry of turn 3 right there. So it's looking like these 4 tires are going to be a whole lot better for Jamie McMurray.
4 tires in a faster race car. McMurray's been one of the strongest all day.
And at Pocono last week, we didn't get to talk about him a great deal because he lost a transmission early on, but we saw him there at the end of the race, racing with those leaders as fast as the guys in front.
And here comes Matt Kenseth on Robbie Gordon for second.
Now here's the bad news for Tony Stewart. That 42 car out front with nobody to pass, nobody's going to mess with him. He's going to be clicking off some fast times, BP, and that's going to be trouble for the 20.
And Tony's got to get through all these cars to even get up and try to chase him down. And he's just now getting by Kenny Wallace. A lap car.
Elliott Sadler's car has just been retired from the race. Dave?
And he's just climbed out, Alan. Elliott, what finally put you out?
I think something just kind of broke in the motor or something. We were turning a lot of RPMs, trying to get the most horsepower we could out of it, and it was a great piece. And we struggled a little bit at the beginning, but this better before Torres was actually running good there at the end. But just the way it goes, my Indy woes continue. Maybe I'll turn around next year.
This place has a way of dashing your hopes, Alan.
Yeah, Elliott's best finish here at Indy, 21st. He's had a lot of hard luck here, and another tough luck day for the Virginian. Tony Stewart, dominant driver in the Brickyard 400 so far, finds himself 3.5 seconds in arrears to Jamie McMurray. And we're coming up on 300 miles in this race. Stewart trying to take the 5th spot from his teammate Bobby Labonte, and he does. Trying to see if he can get back to the front and position himself for a home state Indiana win. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the Duck. It is time for our Aflac NASCAR Winston Cup Trivia Quiz. Aflac. Question is, who's the only driver to win the Daytona 500 and Brickyard 400 in the same year? You should be able to come up with this. Come on.
Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon, yeah.
Dale Earnhardt.
No.
Okay.
2 good guesses, but the answer is Dale Jarrett.
All right.
That was my next guess.
1996.
Congratulations, DJ.
There you go. Jamie McMurray did not win the Daytona 500, but he's trying to win the Brickyard 400. There's his interval back to second place, Matt Kenseth, and we look farther back where Tony Stewart is in 4th place now, just past Robbie Gordon. And he's trying to get 3rd from Kevin Harvick. Bill, you've been able to go back and review with the team what happened on that pit stop again that cost Tony so much ground.
Yeah, we looked at the videotape down here in their pit stall, and they didn't have a very good stop out on it as we were talking about. But here are a couple of problems. First of all, Todd Foster, a very solid tire changer, had trouble with the gun on the right rear. Then when they were coming around to the left side, Chuck White, who's the jack man, slipped ever so little coming across the front of the car on that tape you see in front of the car. Some teams want to paint that. This team, like most, elect to use tape. So watch, you can't see much of it, but he just scoots right over that. That caused him to lose his footing a little bit. Then Tony was a little too close to the wall to be able to jack that car up in the proper fashion. So they had trouble, Todd had trouble getting the left rear out of the wheel well, and that's what slowed him up. That was on pit road. On the track, Tony around the 29, call the front, tell him he's coming.
Yeah. And it won't be a long distance call either.
No, it won't. Is that what McMurray said, or who said to call him up, tell him I'm coming? Well, Tony Stewart can do the same thing.
That was Tony.
Earlier. Okay, well, he can do the same thing again. He can hit redial.
4 seconds to make up on Jamie McMurray. Now, that is going to be a tough haul because Tony's going to have to run to make up 4 seconds a lot faster or get a caution. You know, saying 1/10 of a second a lap.
Here's where he's going to make it up. Getting 2 pit lanes for the gas and go at the end.
Okay.
That's where I think he can make it up.
Remember that. How about our Walmart NASCAR Winston Cup race fact? 4 of the last 5 Brickyard 400 winners went on to win the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship.
Doesn't bode very well for Jamie McMurray, does it?
How about a twist on that? What was the worst finish by the eventual champion in this race?
What would be?
12th, Tony Stewart last year. The eventual NASCAR Winston Cup champion has finished 6th or better in 8 of the 9 Brickyard 400s.
Yeah, we got a lot of cloud cover right now, BP. This is going to change the handling of a lot of race cars out there right now if it stays this way.
But Jamie McMurray is out in front, trying to pick up the win in the 10th running of the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. In Speedway, Indiana, it's the Indianapolis Motor Speedway side of the 10th running of the Brickyard 400. And we're just past 300 miles in the race now. Jamie McMurray is the leader. Let's update the Coca-Cola Racing family's progress today. Tony Stewart leading the charge for the Coke drivers.
Kevin Harvick is second. He was running 4th currently, and there's Labonte and Dale Jarrett, Kyle Petty. Both those guys having all kind of problems. Jarrett is still running 14 laps down. Petty is out. Isn't he?
No, he came back on the racetrack.
That's why I'm going to garage area.
Yep, fixed the rear end gear. He's 19 laps down in 41st place. Time to take you through the field. Set things up as we got 1 round of pit stops remaining. We'll check out how the leaders are running. Mr. Weber, you are first.
Fine, thank you very much, Mr. Bestwick. Jamie McMurray in a new downforce car that was run for the first time at Pocono last weekend. Not saying anything on the radio, just getting Donnie Wingo to call out the lap times to him, and they're good. Matt Kenseth is in a rocket. They've taken a little tape off the grill, overheating just a little bit. Robbie Reiser, the more you talk to him, the more he gets concerned about it. Their last pit stop, 14.90. Tony Stewart trying to make his way back up through the field after that lengthy pit stop where they had trouble on the rear tires, but has the car and the talent to get there, Matt.
Pole sitter Kevin Harvick runs in the 4th position. He hasn't said a word on the radio since their last stop. He's just clicking off times. Depending upon when a caution falls or if they have to fall on pit road under green, they'll either go 2 or 4. Meanwhile, Robbie Gordon on those older tires is trying to hang on, but he's clicking off some decent laps. They're telling him just to hit his marks, he'll get fresh tires soon. Bill.
Ryan Newman on pit road, similar to what we saw last week at Pocono, and then the caution came out. They could not make it to the end. They wanted to pit as soon as their window opened. They're secure now, got the fuel to get them to the finish. Very similar to what we saw last week. Let's see what happens this time.
Pitted from 9th spot, Bill.
What a deal that was.
And just one more thing on that. He was not happy at all being back in that traffic. So if you can get out of it, you're going to have to get back into it eventually. But you get out of traffic now, get yourself set up, and everybody else stops. See where you're at.
Why do you think that was a good deal?
Oh, it was a great deal for them to get out of just exactly what they're talking about, get out of traffic. But did you see the coordination on the pit crew? The right front tire changer always has to run around the front of the car before he can go. He did not run around the front of the car. He stopped, and the tire carrier grabbed his gun and jerked it out of the way. Yep. Had to save those guys a second or two. It was terrific.
Michael Waltrip going to try the same strategy. I'll tell you why I think it's a bad deal after Matt reports to us on Michael Waltrip's stop.
And look for a possible 2-tire change here for Michael Waltrip. This set of tires not matched up to the way his chassis was handling. At one point he thought he had a tire going down. He's hoping this will fix his problem.
See the tire changer have to run out of the way of the 15 car?
I'm surprised these guys are changing 2 tires.
I am too. I thought we'd get splash and go.
Now let me tell you why I think it wasn't a good deal for Ryan Newman to pit before, because when he came out onto the racetrack, he's now behind the leader, Jamie McMurray. So how that deal worked last week at Pocono, remember those guys pitted, then the caution came out, and everybody else pitted and came out behind him. Caution comes out now, Ryan Newman's going to be tail end of the lead lap
and
instead ahead of the pack.
That's right, and so is Michael Walker. They were far enough behind the leader here, they could not come down pit road, change 2 tires, and get back out in front of the leader.
So if this thing stays green all the way to the finish, I don't know what they're going to gain this time. You know, unless those 2 tires are going to make enough of a speed difference for them.
I don't see it these days. It used to be you used to change tires and you became Superman on one of these cars because they were so much faster, but it's not like that now.
No, it's not. And right now, Jamie McMurray 42 car is actually gaining on Tony Stewart.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, last time by, Kenseth was faster than both of them.
Yep. Here's Bobby Labonte in. Going to make his final stop under the green with 31 laps to go, Bill.
And his car was tight, so they're going to come in and fix it now. They took 2 tires last time. That back McSwain Stewart, then made the two-tire call just as Bobby was getting to his stall. Right side tires this time. He had the okay from the fuel man, and he's on his way back out.
I guess they got to take that much fuel anyway. That's the only thing I can think of.
Guess.
Although, if I was Kenseth or Stewart, I would force McMurray into making a move. And if he changed two tires, if I could get away with just taking gas and not the tires and saving a lot of time, that's what I do.
McMurray last pitted at lap 106, so giving him 40 laps from there, 146, he's another 16 laps away from stopping. And if I'm him and his team, I'm staying on the track until I have to come in case the caution comes out.
Oh yeah, that's what he does. He stays out as long as he can. But here comes the 12 car of Ryan Newman. He's between Kenseth and the leader.
And in a lot of trouble if the caution comes out.
Yep.
So Jamie McMurray trying to pick up his second NASCAR Winston Cup Series win in one of the biggest races you could, the Brickyard 400. Tony Stewart going to come and dive in with 29 laps to go. Bill?
And Tony Stewart will make the long trip down pit road for what he hopes is his final stop under green. The car's been good, has not been overly happy with this set of tires. So let's see what these guys elect to do. Stewart 3 falls away, 2, 1. Now comes to a stop far away from the wall. Remember last time, very close to the left side. Not a factor this time. They pull the fairway off the windshield. They've got the fuel okay, but the right side's only. That's why it wasn't a factor. Closing out to the left side.
Now this can work out different for Tony Stewart than it did for Jamie McMurray, because Tony Stewart should be ahead of McMurray on the track in terms of he'll be on the lead lap. See, there comes McMurray now. So now if the caution comes out and McMurray comes into pit, Stewart stays out and he's ahead of him.
Yeah. He has just forced the hand of Jamie McMurray. He has no choice but to stop now and get two tires because he can't afford for the caution flag to come out.
So when will McMurray pit?
Next lap.
Well, we'll see if that's what Donnie Wingo, the crew chief. Yeah, there it is. There you go.
He has no choice. I mean, when Stewart made that pit stop, he can't sit out there.
4,000 second gear.
He changed their strategy.
That's right. Exactly. Tony Stewart changed their strategy.
So the key here for McMurray, a good into pit road, a clean stop, a good exit, and stay in front of Tony Stewart. And then see what happens when Matt Kenseth makes his stop. Here comes McMurray to the 55-mile-an-hour pit road speed limit.
Close to the wall when you come in, Jamie. Stop it.
Cleanly
Stop on the board when you get here.
He's got a long way to go down pit road to get to his crew, which is just shy of the start-finish line, and then a long exit to get back out on the track. Bill?
They count him in. You want everything to go perfect here. This will be right side tires and fuel. Hopefully for them, their last green flag stop. This crew, when I was down in the stall a few minutes ago, very tight, but very focused. McMurray on his way.
But he lost 2.5 seconds to Tony Stewart.
That's right, and plus, we'll see if Stewart got in a little bit better. Looked like Tony got into pit lane a little bit quicker than 42 car.
Man, 29 to you.
Kevin Harvick pulls the car a little closer to the wall. This will be a two-tire change. They back to use that ball, and he's down and away.
All right, there goes Harvick back out. Now we follow Tony Stewart, and we wait to see where Jamie McMurray comes up onto the racetrack in relation to Stewart.
Now look, and Stewart's got a lot of momentum right now, too. He's got a lot of speed. Jamie McMurray is still getting up to speed.
But he's already broken it.
But it is, yep.
Same
so
up ahead.
Stay out front.
All right.
And Stewart has to go through all these cars.
Yep. Well, a couple of these guys are going to peel off, I think, in front of them.
Maybe
they haven't
pit
pit yet.
There's McMurray, and we check the gap back to the orange car, Tony Stewart. I don't think it's much different than it was before the stops. We'll check it electronically when they cross the start-finish line here. Other pit stops being made as Matt Kenseth has taken over the race lead. Earnhardt Jr. is in. Marty?
Running 12th when he hits pit road. Allen, a quick stop for the Bud guys down on the track bar. Also a pound into the right rear for Jr. His car was a little too loose to start with. Gets too tight the longer he runs.
We got 3 seconds.
Tony Stewart gained about 1.5 seconds on that interchange. He now is exchange, I should say. He's now, what, 3.5 seconds behind?
3.5 seconds, yeah.
Junior rejoins the chase. Matt Kenseth leads. Robbie Gordon second. Jimmy Johnson third. Kurt Busch fourth. And Rusty Wallace is fifth, none having made their final pit stop yet.
Now watch the 17 guys. These guys are pretty good on these pit stops, so Matt could come out ahead of both of them.
That's right, because the further he goes, the less fuel he needs that they'll put in the car, and they probably will not change tires.
Right.
It will just be 3 or 4 seconds of gasoline.
And if I'm Robbie Reiser, I leave Matt out as long as I can.
Absolutely. If they can gas and go like BP says, that's going to be a lot of track position.
I talked with Robbie Reiser this morning about the championship lead that they hold and how that has affected his decisions on strategy over the last couple of weeks. I said, how will it affect things today? He said, it doesn't. Points don't count today. This is Indy. We're here to win.
Good for them.
Monitoring NASCAR's race control channel, they are talking back and forth with some spotters on the backstretch about possible debris, which would really hurt Matt Kenseth if the caution comes out now.
Oh boy. If they're even talking about it, BP, he should come in right now.
Yeah, exactly. If they're talking about it, he should hit pit road.
I feel like they're okay. I'll keep going. I hit a piece of metal in the middle of the backstretch.
He didn't come in the pits, Matt.
Right now, you're pit running 5270. The 25 running 5310. I'm just telling you, if there is a caution, they're going to be ahead of us because we got a pit.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh, we're going to try to win this thing by gas only here, man.
Gas only. There you go, Robbie.
Good move.
So he was concerned about a flat tire. He said, I hit a piece of metal.
Right now, they're all going to line up in front of us because we got a pit and they're still on the lead lap.
But they got to be careful. NASCAR doesn't throw that yellow.
We are trying to win this race today, and we're going to try it by doing it gas only at the end here.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's just a great move on their part right here.
Boy, it's just got to be gut-wrenching for that driver out there, giving it his all, trying to win and trying to get his hands around the overall picture of this race that he can't see from in the cockpit.
But Matt knows right now. I mean, I'll guarantee you, Matt knows that these other guys took tires, and they're going to win this thing on gas and go only. They know they've got the track position. Now, the guys that are jumping up and down in their cars is Tony Stewart and Jamie McMurray going, ugh.
They also realize, Matt Kenseth, he just said a moment ago, if the caution comes out, we're in big trouble.
But I guess what I'm saying, Wally, is he's out there and he can see that happening around him, but he can't see the whole picture. All he can see is what's happening in those few cars that he's racing with. And it's got to be tearing him up, saying, are we doing the right thing? Are we doing the right thing? You know, you can hear it in his voice.
Yeah, well, that's where the crew chief comes in and says, listen, you're running as good a times as the other guys. You've got a lot of track position. You know, we're doing exactly what we need to hit. That the driver needs to hear that assurance right now from the crew chief, because that's the only guy that we're going to believe right now in the whole world. Weber?
Yeah, just part of that conversation that you guys didn't hear is that Robbie Reiser got back on the radio and said, listen, Matt, we both know what we're doing here. It's going to work out. We'll be all right. So we gave him that boost of confidence the guy in the car needs.
Exactly.
Caution is out.
Oh, no!
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Oh, no!
Why didn't they come in, BP?
Caution for debris. Can you believe it? Something happened to the 37 car.
And there's the debris. There's has to be a caution flag for that. That metal was sure to puncture a tire.
Unbelievable.
I don't know if I took it or not. Did I take it? Yes, I think you took it, but everybody thinks that they don't know. Just keep coming. Okay, they're saying yes, pull it down, pull it down.
NASCAR trying to pass the word through. Matt trying to make sure he took the caution flag at the start-finish line, which would put him under the yellow. Oh, boy. What a twist in the Brickyard 400.
The thing is, they knew that metal was laying there. He ran it over. He even said it.
He said something. I don't know if it's the same piece of metal.
No, I don't think it is, because they waved, kind of said, okay, everything's fine, and we went to the green.
And then Newman I was looking for him here.
Now, Ryan Newman passed him before they got to the line, but NASCAR, I think, was saying they'd already taken the car.
He took the yellow. It's okay. He took the yellow.
So he's got to go back. Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Boy, what a twist.
Oh, man. If he had just pitted one lap sooner for a splash of gas.
Yep. Well, but he still would have lost that track position if the yellow came out. He wouldn't have been in the position he's in, but he still would have lost all that track position to the guys that had fresh tires. He needed it to go green the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's right. You're probably right there, Wally.
Stop, put 4 tires on it. When it's done with 4 tires, stop it and go. If I have time, I'll have enough
So
Better not give his lap back there. There's no way. You said I took it. He took it for sure.
and
We definitely took it. NASCAR said we definitely took it first.
Okay. All right. How many cars on the lead lap, Robbie?
A bunch, Matt.
16 cars.
More than
Yeah,
that.
a lot of them going to fit with us, so we're going to come out 16th again here. It's not looking too good. Let's put 4 tires on and go for it here.
wow.
Now you put 4 on, right?
Oh, yeah, that's what they're talking about.
Yep, come in.
4 and just
on.
enough gasoline to go the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Keep it as light as possible. Sometimes they put all the gasoline there for the balance, but they decided to keep it light.
Now this is a break for Stewart. All right, the car stopped on the racetrack is Ryan Newman. He's been given the word that he did not get back on the lead lap, so he's waiting for the pace car. And let's see who does pit and who doesn't here. Kenseth in.
Got quite a few of them coming down pit road.
Yeah, most of them that had not stopped already. And naturally, Tony Stewart. Is Stewart coming in?
Jimmy Johnson? No. Is he?
Tony Stewart came in.
Wow.
Looks like Tony is coming down pit road.
But Jamie McMurray did not. Wow, Bill.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to figure this out till we get everybody off of pit road. It's going to be 2 right side tires, chassis adjustment. Matt Kenseth takes off just as his tire carrier gets across in front of the car. Matt.
And there will be a 4-tire change for Jimmy Johnson as he rolls over on the jack, losing a lot of time here on pit road. Joe Zanolini trying to hit the lugs on the left rear. A long stop for Jimmy Johnson.
Left side tires for Tony Stewart.
Yep.
So he must not have been happy with the way his car was handling on just those rights from his other pit stop.
That's right.
But
Man, this thing's got more twist on a rattlesnake.
Happens sometimes.
So Jamie McMurray did not pit, and that's going to give him some much needed track position. How about the Matt Kenseth stop? Watch the tire. Tire's got to come back to the inside half of the pit box before he leaves.
Oh, just barely gets it.
Wow.
And they just changed 2. They talked about on the radio changing 4, but I think that was in a very hasty moment. They saw all those cars coming down pit road and decided to try to beat all those cars.
We'll reset it for you when we come back to Indianapolis. Several twists of plot in the Brickyard 400. Just 18 laps remaining in the 10th running of the Brickyard 400, and a wild twist of plot involving green flag pit stops, a caution flag, and some more pit stops. And let's reset it all for you. Jamie McMurray and Kevin Harvick did not stop under this caution flag. They are the top 2. Focusing so much on Matt Kenseth, he came off pit road after the 2-tire stop, 3rd. He was first off pit road, so he may not be in as bad a shape as we thought.
No, he's in pretty good shape, as a matter of fact. The guy that really got hurt was Tony Stewart, because he stopped twice. He stopped on the green and then on the caution flag. And now he's back in, 12th spot, Bill.
Yeah, and Tony came down because he said the car was pushing so bad it was about to knock the fence down. So they came in, put on left sides because they had just put on rights, made a chassis adjustment, and sent him back out. They couldn't put on 4 because they knew that would dump them too far back in traffic. So that's why Tony came down on pit road.
And last night in the NASCAR Cup Series race, Scott Riggs' car would not handle all night, just plowed. On the last stop with about 20 laps to go, he stopped, changed left sides, and went from 14th to 5th in the last 40-50 laps. So this might be a very good move on Tony Stewart's part.
Let's give you the running order here. McMurray, Harvick, Kenseth, Robbie Gordon, Jeff Gordon. Then Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott, Mark Martin, Terry Labonte, and Kurt Busch, the top 10. Tony Stewart back in 12th. You know, Bill, from the way things were looking to the way they've turned out, not all that bad for Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, let's ask Robbie Reiser. You're smiling now, but you weren't about 3 minutes ago. This is going to work out okay.
Well, if Matt would leave me alone a little bit, we'd be all right. But, you know, there are a couple ways we could have played this thing at the end, and I think gas only at the end would have gave us a chance at winning this thing, because we were able to stay up front and run better times than the guys that had pitted. So I think we had a shot at winning it with a gas and go. So that's why we were doing what we were doing, and that caution had to come out, and that kind of threw a monkey wrench into it. But with the guys pitting early, a lot of them got a lap down, so that puts us back 3rd in the line. We were going to take 4 tires, but right at the last minute decided to take 2 because everybody else is going to be on pit road, and we didn't think we'd have that many cars on pit road. So,
how are the temperatures?
Everything's good right now.
All right, that's Robbie Reiser. Matt.
Kevin Harvick last pitted on lap 133. You took on 2 then. You've got to be very happy with your situation now.
Yeah, we're real happy. You know, the 2 tires actually helped tighten the car up a little bit. We were too free that run. It all kind of fell out the way we needed it to here with the caution and all pitting. And so it'll be enjoyment for the last 15 laps or so here. We'll just have to see what we got.
Well, that makes a good crew chief there, then Robbie Reiser. I mean, he probably changed his plan 3 times by the time the car hit pit lane.
Exactly.
And it left.
Exactly. Now we've got a situation here that the leader is 4 cars back on that the line to the left. The leader is the 4th car back. All those cars in front of him,
right behind the yellow car.
And the bubble is over the race leader, Jamie McMurray. All those other cars in front of him are on the tail end of the lead lap. They're 2.5 miles behind the leader, trapped there by the pace car and the cycle of pit stops.
And there's a lot of guys. You remember I was telling you these guys were anxious before?
Oh, yeah.
Now.
This is just like a 20-lap feature at Flemington.
Exactly.
Yeah, one big difference. It's Indy.
It's Indy.
17, now 16 laps to go. Keep an eye on the leader, McMurray. Harvick going to try and follow the lap cars.
Oh, there he goes.
Inside.
He goes on the inside of McMurray. He takes the lead.
Kevin Harvick to the front at Indy. McMurray still bottled up in traffic.
Here comes Robbie Gordon. He's 3 wide down the back
contact.
Still
contact.
Blocking. Here comes Matt Kenseth. You can't do it 4 wide at Indy.
Robbie Gordon drives that car in on the outside.
Oh, McMurray got sideways. Took the air off McMurray's car. He got sideways.
Oh, Terry Labonte is around. 3-4 cars in it. Ricky Rudd, Mike Skinner, Jimmy Johnson, and Sterling Marlin. Caution flag is out.
Is that Skinner? Skinner's in there too.
And all of those cars that were in front of the leader just got 2.5 miles of free pass.
Sterling Marlin involved.
Like I said, it's a 20-lap feature at Flemington.
Oh, man.
Joe Nemechek with damage. His car on the left, now on the right. And that's Mike Skinner in the Army car coming at you. Ricky Rudd.
There's a lot of damage to that left front of that car. Obviously. Kind of stating the obvious one. And we see an oil line is knocked off the 21 car for all that smoke.
There's Sterling Marlin.
Tony Glover said, don't go fast enough, you're going to blow the tire out.
That's what happens. Get down to the end of these races and you've got to go.
And now you've got in front, guess who?
Kevin Harvick.
And Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, the Richard Childress teammates.
Yeah.
Who have not always seen eye to eye on things.
Not exactly. I guarantee you Robbie Gordon is not going to say, oh, Kevin, go ahead and win this Brickyard 400. It will never enter his mind to let him win.
All right, let's go back and reconstruct what happened for you in the big jam of traffic in turn 3.
See the 77 car of Blaney very, very high, so obviously something had happened beforehand, and oh, man, this all starts there.
I think Terry got hit in the back to start that. Oh, look at that. Man. All 4 wheels off the ground.
Up in the air.
And I think this all started from the result of McMurray getting sideways when Robbie Gordon drove on the outside of him going into turn 3, and a bunch of cars checked up.
I'm not so sure that Dave Blaney didn't have a tire go down or something, because he kind of got out of the gas and got up out in that outside lane.
There he is, up the yellow car on the outside that Alan is talking about.
And Terry definitely got hit
a couple times.
Once to start it, and once there. That's Terry Labonte in the 5. Ricky Rudd, 21. Good day gone bad in a hurry. Might have been Kurt Busch that got Terry Labonte. He was the one right behind him. 0-1 car, Skinner hit by Rudd in the 21. You see Nemechek got Sterling Marlin. Nemechek in the red and black car all caved in at the bottom. Far right side of your screen.
And now all of a sudden, these cars are coming at you.
This is Kurt Busch's view.
Clear, clear. Keep digging. Got 77 up top there. Come on.
Yep.
Mike Skinner.
Still there. Slow car ahead on the outside. Stay low, low.
Not a whole lot Mike could do there. Well, he was almost through it.
He was. And low or high, either one, there was no place to go as far as Skinner was concerned.
The blade of grass stuck across the lens of the camera. Jimmy Johnson got a piece of this too. On board with him.
Inside. In front of you, man.
He might have spun out of harm's way.
Jimmy, you okay, bud?
This is Kevin Harvick's crew reacting to him coming by with the lead for the first time since lap 17.
And this is a hard place for the spotters. Very difficult. We talked about it. Dave talked about it earlier about adding spotters. Very tough place for spotters to help the drivers here.
So the 7 drivers involved in the accident that's put us under caution in the late going of the Brickyard 400. 5th caution flag of the race. And so they're trying to push the Joe Nemechek car into the garage. He'll be done. Looks like Mike Skinner's headed to the garage. And the attrition rate that had been very low, only 2 cars retired from the race so far, is suddenly going to grow by a few. Kevin Harvick is leading. We're under caution with 14 laps to go, and they're cleaning up turn 3. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. At the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the 10th running of the Brickyard 400 live on NBC. The final laps of this one have been dramatic so far, and we're not done yet. Cleaning up after a 7-car wreck up in turn 3 just after a restart in which the lead changed hands. We got all kind of things going on. Dave?
Yeah, Sterling Marlin stays in his car. He has not let the window net down. That means he believes they're going to be getting back out here. They're working on the front end. They do need to pull out the radiator and replace that. But these guys are only 5 points out of 14th place. They can gain if they stay on the track and maybe get more points today. Marty?
Well, Dave, while we're on the subject and we have a few moments here, a big moment for the folks at Ford this past week, this Thursday night in downtown Indy. It was Ford Fan Appreciation Day, and the couple of thousand fans that were in attendance got a special treat. They unveiled the 2004 Ford Racing Taurus and also the 2004 Ford F-150 pickup truck that will be in the Craftsman Truck Series next season. Several drivers took part in the unveiling. Ford says the Taurus has a little facelift for next year, while the F-150 received its first makeover since 1996. And if you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. AB, I believe you were there, and what's that new Taurus look like?
The refinements are very subtle because of the constrictions that NASCAR has on the common dimensions of it, but Ford thinks that they have helped the car in some key areas in the front and the back where they're allowed to do some work by NASCAR. So we'll see. But it was a fun event. Like 10,000 people turned out there Thursday night. Great to see.
See those cars weaving back and forth, trying to rub all the debris off these tires, so when they go down in turn 1 the first time at speed, the tires will be clean, ready to grip the racetrack.
Some of the drivers involved in the accident back in the garage area. Marty?
Alan, look at all the damage on Joe Nemechek's Chevrolet. Just a ton of front-end damage there on that Chevy. Joe, what happened in the wreck?
I wish I knew. It was something way up in front of me. All of a sudden, everybody just started spinning, and I barely tipped the back of Jimmy Johnson, and he spun, and I hope he's okay. But then as you're on the brakes, and all of a sudden, everybody slid right up in front of me from the bottom. Something happened about 10 rows in front of me. Just unfortunate, you know, for UAW and Delphi. We had a great run going, good qualifying run, and we're going to have us a top 15 finish, probably a top 10 finish. But someone didn't use their head there at the end.
And the worst part, he had just gotten his car into the 10th position, guys.
Field's going to get the 1 to go signal at the start-finish line this time, which means we'll restart with 10 laps to go in the Brickyard 400. Kevin Harvick leads. Robbie Gordon is second. The Richard Childress Racing teammates who haven't always seen eye to eye. Remember when Gordon passed Harvick at the Sonoma Road Course race coming to a caution flag? They exchanged some words over that. Robbie told us earlier in the weekend that he and his teammate spur each other on, hopefully to greater heights.
And I'm really happy that Kevin Harvick, my teammate, got the pole, and hopefully we can work together and push each other towards the front. One thing about it is the two of us, we're so competitive. Whatever he does, I want to match it, and whatever I do, he wants to match it as well. And I think that helps bring our whole team forward.
Well, let's go back to Infineon Raceway. This was coming back to the caution flag.
This is what put the whole gentleman's agreement thing into play that it's been all summer.
Because Robbie Gordon goes by his teammates.
Now this is basically what threw the gentleman's agreement out the window.
And goes on to the victory, beating Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick.
So Robbie Gordon already a victory so far this season. His teammate Kevin Harvick, a pair of second place finishes have been his best results so far. Matty?
Alan, they may not go on vacation together anytime soon, but Robbie Gordon brought Kevin Harvick's setup from last year to test here at Indy. They backed up what they thought. They came back here. The 31 and 29 are very similar. Also, he said on the radio, tell Kevin to race me clean, and I will race him clean. They pass it on to Kevin. He said 10-4.
Okay, let's see, huh, Weber?
Make believers out of us.
Yeah, we couldn't find Richard Childress on pit road, so I ran down to the 30 pit. I thought he might be there. He wasn't there. I asked my beam where he's at. He goes, I don't know. I said, you do too? He said, no, I don't. But he asked on the radio, Richard, where are you? TV wants to know. Richard goes, tell him I'm hiding.
And I don't blame him.
All right, we're coming to the restart. Remember on the last restart, Jamie McMurray was the leader, and the field steamed off into turn one with a bunch of lap traffic around them, and Kevin Harvick came out with the lead before they got through the corners.
That's right, McMurray, the leader, was back about the fourth or fifth row. There's Harvick on the inside. As McMurray tries to go by Jeff Green, Harvick goes under and takes the lead.
McMurray in the 42 and Harvick in the 29, so.
And I think the 77 car realized he had a flat tire then going in turn one, and in turn three, we had all the big crash.
So the car to the inside of leader Kevin Harvick will be Bobby Labonte. He's the first car one lap down in 22nd position. There are 21 cars on the lead lap. There will be 10 laps to go in the Brickyard 400. Remember that Kevin Harvick on his last pit stop did not stop rather on that last caution flag. That's how he got his track position.
Yep, he's got to clear that car of Bobby Labonte. He needs to get away from these guys as quick as possible, but so does Robbie Gordon, Jamie McMurray. And he cleared them.
And Tony Stewart still mired back in 10th position.
All right, 42, McMurray has had a fast race car all day. Can he pass these two Chevrolets in front of him? And Matt Kenseth, he's also been quick. He's right there in fourth spot.
And it was important they clear those cars down on the bottom, so now they can just go after each other, not have to race those cars a lap down.
While we watch this, Dave Burns is with one of the other drivers involved in that last accident.
Alan, that's Ricky Rudd. Ricky, tell us what you saw and how you tried to avoid it.
We had a lot of smoke. Wasn't a whole lot of avoiding it. I'm not sure who turned the 5 around, but he got sideways. Couldn't tell if something happened in front of him or what, but he turned sideways and came up the racetrack, and I was committed on the outside line already. It was just restarts, you know, y'all jammed in there, and something happened. That's the worst time it can happen, and unfortunately, took the new Rent-A-Sitter ride here out of commission today. We weren't, obviously, we weren't in contention, but not a good way to end the day.
All right, and Ricky also told me, guys, that he is just fine.
Tony Stewart in the 20, trying to pass Steve Parks for 9th place.
Oh!
Here comes Kurt Busch.
He goes on the inside of Stewart and passes them both.
11th to 9th.
Good move. It was a great move by Kurt Busch.
What's that car smoking back there?
Is that Jason
Hero
Leffler?
car?
Troubles under the hood? Could be.
I don't know, it could be. They're on their third engine of the weekend in that Zero car.
But we remain under the green flag. Eight laps to go. Harvick has put some distance between himself and Robbie Gordon and Jamie McMurray.
Okay, now McMurray's got to get by Robbie as quick as possible. He cannot mess around with Robbie Gordon. If his car is quicker, he's got to force the issue if he's going to run down Kevin Harvick. And Harvick is loving it. He's looking in his mirror going, Keep him back there, Robbie.
Kevin Harvick started on pole for today's race, led the opening 17 laps, then fell back, was passed by Bill Elliott at that point, did not lead again in this race until lap 145. When he got the lead on that restart we showed you there just a minute ago.
Harvick's in good shape right now.
Our Napa Field summary on the Brickyard 400. 12 leaders, 17 lead changes in this race. At a very low attrition rate until that last crash a moment ago. Still working on some of those cars back there. Cautions today came out at lap 38 for an accident on pit road involving Dale Jarrett. 47 when John Andretti was involved in the crash. Then oil from Elliott Sadler's car at 106. Debris at lap 141. And the big 7-car crash at lap 146. Dale Jarrett's jackman, John Bryan, was injured in that accident. He was taken to Methodist Hospital here in Indianapolis for further treatment and evaluation. We have received no further word on it other than he was awake and alert when transported to the hospital.
Oh, McMurray is right there. He's going to get on the inside of Robbie this time off turn 4.
And he's got a skirt or something flapping on the left side of that race car, the 42 car of Jamie McMurray right there.
Yep.
Now, Robbie, is he going to force issue? Oh, baby!
No, I don't think he'll be able to hold on there.
The answer is yes, he's going to force it.
He's going to force it, yeah.
Jamie might be a little more inspired here, too, because he blamed Robbie for pinching him in on that last restart when he got trapped in traffic.
Yeah, Jamie's going to have to get a little bit aggressive here.
And can Matt Kenseth get them both at once?
He might.
Matt's going to help push the 42 car by. That's that draft I was talking about. 2 cars are going to be quicker than 1 here at Indianapolis.
And he literally pushed him by the 31 car. So he might have bump drafted him by.
McMurray to second. Kenseth trying to lock up third on Robbie Gordon. Problem is, while they were racing side by side, Kevin Harvick got away.
He's almost a little over 2.5 seconds in front of this group.
Look at the gap.
Oh, no, 3.5 seconds.
That's going to be tough to make up in 5 laps.
Yeah, hardly any way.
All Kevin's got to do is just keep hitting his marks.
And here comes Jeff Gordon joining this fight for second place. Very quiet day for the 3-time winner.
And he's looking in his mirror BP at least 100 times a lap right now.
Exactly.
Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, if something happens in front of him, he might hit it because he's watching the rearview mirror.
Tony Stewart, who has dominated most of the Brickyard 400, is trapped back in 10th place. Not going to be the kind of finish he was hoping for today. Four laps to go as they come down this long front straightaway surrounded by this massive crowd at Indianapolis. You're watching the race for second between Jamie McMurray in the 42 and Matt Kenseth in the 17, but it's all going on well behind leader Kevin Harvick.
And Matt is putting some pressure on Jamie McMurray right now.
He is. That Kenseth this year in that 17 car has been like this almost every race. So competitive. And here he is on the inside of McMurray for second spot. He's got it.
Open some air. And Matt Kenseth, the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship leader, goes to the second spot.
And meanwhile, the guy in second spot in the championship is Earnhardt Jr., currently running in 15th.
Jeff Gordon takes a shot.
Yep. Jeff around Robbie, and Bill Elliott going to try and follow him through.
Elliott's got some momentum going there, but pulls back in behind Robbie.
So Jeff Gordon to 4th. Robbie Gordon trying to follow his draft in 5th. And Bill Elliott, the defending winner of the Brickyard 400, trying to crack the top 5 again.
Well, Robbie doesn't have as good as tires as these other cars right now, so he's hanging on to whatever he can grab here.
We are past the point at which NASCAR would use the red flag in the race to try and get a green flag finish. So if the caution comes out now, it's going to have to be really, really quick to help Matt Kenseth. Squeeze.
That is squeezing.
And Kurt Busch.
That's Kurt Busch, yeah. Had a pretty good run there, Benny.
Up front, it's all Kevin Harvick. With now 5 miles to go in the Brickyard 400, Matt.
In our Discover Countdown to Green, you heard Kevin Harvick talk about his his favorite childhood memory about this place. Rick Mears from California, 4-time Indy 500 winner. He wanted to join him as an Indy winner. His wife, Delana, you can see wrenching her hands on top of the pit box, hoping this day comes home with a victory, Bill.
Matt, as you know, early last season, NASCAR benched Kevin Harvick for rough driving during a race at Martinsville. He missed the Winston Cup race. After that race, he said, I grew up working at the Camelot Fun Park in California. I can go back there and work. I don't have to do this. I'll bet you right now, he's glad he didn't go back.
Yeah. Right now, he's seeing the white flag. Kevin Harvick, 1 lap away from Indianapolis victory. His team owner, Richard Childress, we talked about being in hiding a little while ago. Childress won this race in 1995 with Dale Earnhardt. Kevin Harvick with the oh-so-difficult job of replacing Dale Earnhardt behind the wheel of this machine after Earnhardt was tragically killed at Daytona in February 2001. Harvick stepped in, and in just his 3rd race with the team, took a memorable victory at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. He's half a lap from establishing racing legend for himself. The final corner, and 300,000 fans are on their feet at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The checkered flag is in sight, and the California kid, Kevin Harvick, wins the 10th Brickyard 400. Margin of victory, 2.7 seconds over Matt Kenseth, who increases his lead in the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. Tony Stewart, who dominated the day, actually lost a couple of positions in that final sprint to the checkers. After leading 60 of the 160 laps, Stewart's going to wind up 12th. What a day for Kevin Harvick and the Richard Childress race team, Matt.
Todd Barrier, congratulations. What does this win mean?
I tell you what, it means a lot. The whole company, you know, everybody there is dug deep to get this place turned around and get all these things going. Gil had a hell of a team already built. It makes my job easy, you know, so it's a great day.
Todd, this is Indy. This is special.
Yeah, I realized it a little bit later. Me and Gil been talking about buying lottery tickets for 2 days. Hell, I think we just hit it.
I agree.
That's a great line.
Kevin Harvick's first win of 2003. His 4th NASCAR Winston Cup Series win. It's been 39 races, about a year and a month, since he took a victory at Chicagoland Speedway last July. All right, he's one of these young kids. Let's see what kind of burnouts and donuts he does.
Harvick is good at burnouts.
Today's winner in Chevy congratulates Kevin and the number 29 Monte Carlo. Kevin will tell you the only thing that comes close to Monte Carlo's reputation on the track is its reputation on the street. More champions depend on Chevy. We'll be there. Chevrolet's 5th win in the Brickyard 400 in 10 tries. That was his wife, Delana.
Oh, and he blew the right rear.
Blew the right rear tire, blew the quarter panel off on it.
That's a burnout.
That's a burnout.
Oh, you gotta love it.
Delana comes from a racing family. Her uncle Dickie and her dad John Limble both raced out of I think Kernersville, North Carolina.
Yes, sir. You remember correct. What a day. Kevin Harvick led the first 17 laps of the race and didn't lead again until there were 15 laps to go.
Can't do any more burnouts, Kevin. You don't have any rubber left.
He might have to get some fog lights on that thing to find his way to the winner's circle, huh? He tore the fenders off it with that little tire problem on the burnout, but I think they'll be okay with hanging a new body on it.
I think so, too. I think RC will be too upset about that.
Yeah, they'll be okay. Listen to the crowd. You know, we've talked a lot about the tradition and the history here at Indianapolis, but one of the other things that makes this race so special are the fans. They are just so into it. This whole city just wraps its arm around the races at this track.
And they talk about Charlotte being, you know, racing city. Indianapolis is a racing city as well.
Championship leader Matt Kenseth finished 2nd today. Dave?
He sure did, guys, and trying at the end to catch up, but really didn't look like there was any way for you to get Harvick, was there?
I was a little too far behind. All my guys did a great job. Smirnoff Ice Triple Black guys did good. They had good pit stops. Robbie had a good strategy. We just, when a 31 got by me on that restart, I knew I should have tried to block him a little more there, but it was a little crazy. I knew that it was going to be tough getting around that 31 to get to the 29, but it was a great job of my guys, great run, and we came close.
All right, and he remains the points leader. Guys, let's go to Matt.
A great run by Jamie McMurray. Take us to those final few laps, Jamie.
Well, on the last restart, it was just real slick up high, and I don't know if the 31, somebody got in and kind of jacked me up, and I just couldn't do anything. I was just stuck there, and Kevin and Robbie, and I think somebody else got by, but we had a good car, man. We broke the last 2 weeks, so I'm excited. Everybody was here from Haviland today, so hopefully put a good show on for them, and a good show on for I don't know how many people are here, but there's a lot, so really cool racetrack.
This is the kind of run this team needed.
Yeah, I mean, every team needs that, but it's a brand new race car, so really proud of everybody that at the fab shop, the body shop, engine guys. We've come a long ways since the beginning of the year, so just excited for everybody at Chip Ganassi Racing with Felix Sabates.
Jamie McMurray comes home third here at Indy, Dave.
And Jeff Gordon now taking a drink, walking over to the wall to get a seat. Jeff, hard work out there today. The numbers will say it was a huge recovery for you guys. What was it like for you?
It was a fight. Man, I tell you, I told the team before race started that we were going to fight until that checkered flag fell. And I mean, we were digging all day long. I'm so proud of the effort that was put out. It was a miserable weekend for us until we got that fourth place finish right there. That made for a great birthday for me. And I know we didn't get any points on kids, but that was championship form as far as I'm concerned, this race team. I couldn't be more proud of them.
If you couldn't get the win, Jeff, is this as close in terms of effort and satisfaction you can get?
Oh, my goodness. From the type of weekend that we had, I mean, we struggled so much, and we were 40th fastest in practice yesterday. And they dropped the green. Those guys change everything on that car. I mean, when you have confidence in your team, and they have confidence in you, it makes a big, big difference. And they changed everything on that race car and came back with a basically brand new race car today, and it just drove to the front. It was awesome. And we still struggled. There was one time, I don't know what happened, but I got really loose, and we made some adjustments, some great calls. Couldn't be more proud of Robbie on that last call to stay out there and get two tires, or come in and get two tires.
The three-time winner comes home fourth today. Let's go meet a first-time winner. Bill?
Well, Kevin Harvick didn't drive into victory lane. His team pushed him into victory lane. An outstanding day here at Indianapolis. And now he will be able to celebrate a win in the Brickyard 400. Kevin Harvick wins the 10th running of the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Congratulations, you're a long way from the Camelot Fun Park today. How does this feel?
Man, I can't believe this.
Kiss for his wife.
It's awesome. I mean, to win the Brickyard 400 is our first race. Come here, man.
Where were you hiding?
I was up on top watching.
I was looking for you.
Good job. I tell you what, to win the Brickyard 400 is our first race this year is awesome for this GM Goodwrench team. Everyone involved from Snap-on to Sylvania to Sonic, Coca-Cola, Purdue, Reese's. Who am I missing? Van Camps.
How about yourself? What's it like for you?
I mean, I don't even know if I can explain it. It's so awesome. I mean, I grew up, I told Matt this morning, I got a picture hanging on my wall that says, "Good luck, hope to see you here someday," from Rick Mears. And damn if we aren't here in victory lane at the Brickyard. This is awesome. Just for this team and all these fans, all the people that stuck with us through thick and thin. It's a pretty awesome day for us.
Kevin, these colors and this car owner have been to victory lane at Indianapolis before.
I think it was 95, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. You brought them back.
Yeah, I tell you what, anything we can do that Dale Earnhardt did is an accomplishment. This whole race team, and that's why we still got this 3 on the side, because this is what this is what made this whole organization and this race team what it is today. So I'm just glad to be a part of it, and I want to thank Richard and all the guys at the shop for tearing these things apart. We only raced this thing once this year, and it's had 3 bodies on it, so they've been working hard.
How about that 31 being behind you there? Were you concerned about that at all, Kevin?
I wasn't concerned. I mean, I knew Robbie saw the big picture along with us. I know I was mad at him after Sears Point, but I guess the tables are pretty even. I mean, he did all he could to hold those guys back there and give us a cushion, and this one's as much his as it is ours, and is as important to the company for his team as all the rest of the teams.
You add your name to the list of legendary winners at Indianapolis. Congratulations.
I can't wait to kiss the bricks, man.
That's coming up. Kevin Harvick will kiss the bricks after he kisses his wife at Indianapolis. Marty?
Well, Bill, the man who kissed the bricks last year, Bill Elliott, and talk about a day where you just didn't give up, Bill. You guys really fell back at one point. How did you get back to fifth?
Well, the caution came out, a lot of guys stopped, and it came out in our window. And then we were able to pick up track position from that, and, you know, lo and behold, finished fifth. I had a pretty decent car there at the end, but, man, you know, they started it with 11 laps to go, and you had the lap down cars you had to deal with. And why didn't they just run one more lap and just start it with 10 laps to go and let everybody have a chance of racing the cars in the lead lap? I mean, my God, we already run 149 laps, and then we restart the race at 150. But it's neither here nor there. I'm just glad the Dodge ran well, and we'll go on to Watkins Glen.
Good point by Bill Elliott. They could have started single file there at the end, but he finishes fifth nonetheless. Alan?
Let's check how they ran today in the 10th Brickyard 400. Kevin Harvick with the victory, joining the list of winners at this famed racetrack.
How about Jimmy Spencer with an 8th place finish?
Yeah, we didn't talk about him much today, did we? Where did he come from?
That snuck in there at the end. Nice job by Spencer. He got 8th place from Mark Martin in the final lap. Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart, two of the dominators of the race, finished 11th and 12th.
All these cars in the lead lap.
Earnhardt Jr. in 14th.
He worked for that.
Jeff Green had a strong day, kind of got shuffled back at the finish. And Greg Biffle last on the lead lap. Bobby Labonte caught by pitting, and then the caution came out. They tried that short pit strategy and got burned by it. And not a lot of attrition today. Only five cars failed to finish. Most of them involved in that big 7-car wreck in the late going. And again, no further word on John Bryan, the jackman for Dale Jarrett, involved in an accident on pit road back at lap number 38. Let's go back down to Gasoline Alley. Dave Burns.
Well, Tony Stewart is still recovering from that long, hot race. Coach Gibbs is with us now. Coach, talk to us about how hard they worked and came back to get 12.
Well, I got to tell you, it was a heartbreak for us. I think we came here with a great race car, really two good race cars. They got all caught up in gas mileage towards the end there and choice of when you're going to make stops and everything. And, you know, we kind of felt like we had to do the things we did, and it just didn't work out for us. Best way to describe it is just a complete heartbreak. I feel bad for Home Depot. Everybody fought their guts out today, and but it just didn't work out for us.
And you know how much this means to Tony personally.
I'd say if there's one racetrack that Tony really wants to win, I thought we had a great chance today, and I think he did too. And it just adds to really the best way to describe it. Everybody out there probably can understand something that you really want, and it's a big heartbreak.
All right, that's Joe Gibbs, owner of the 20 car, guys.
And now we check the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship standings after the Brickyard 400. Matt Kenseth naturally remains the leader. His 232-point advantage over Dale Jr. grows again. That thing's kind of like Pinocchio's nose. It keeps going.
Keeps going and going. 286 points. Michael moves up a spot. Labonte loses one. Rusty Wallace moves back into the top 10.
Next Sunday on NBC, NASCAR Winston Cup racing continues. It's from Watkins Glen, presented by Subway. Coverage starting at 1 p.m. Eastern with Discover Card Countdown to Green, the famed road course, the next stop, and we look forward to bringing that to you next Sunday. Tonight, NBC, beginning at 7/6 Central, Dateline NBC, followed by American Dreams, Law and Order, Criminal Intent, and The Restaurant, NBC tonight. In Victory Lane, Kevin Harvick said, anything we can do that Dale Earnhardt did is an accomplishment. He's done it today. He's won the Brickyard 400 of 2003. For our entire NBC Sports NASCAR crew, Alan Bestwick saying so long from the Brickyard 400. It's been a pleasure to be back in Indiana.